work into my appearance, and you can't even like what the fuck.
Oh my god. All right. All right, how about that? Oh my god.
Ashley Ketchatorian.
Again.
You were supposed to be watching the door.
Oh, I know, but like my family was in Pearl Harbor.
You were supposed to be watching the door. Ashley Ketchatorian.
Well, it turns out this is the 9/11 of birthdays.
Do you know what these are, Ashley Ketchatorian? These are a little girl's arms. A little girl with dreams.
Legs.
And a head. She's a swizzle stick. You can use her as a pool noodle. And now I'm holding her fucking arm.
Oh my god. Speaking of like insane crap. So last night, as she often does, the Countess will lurk in the darkness.
She's very good
to
at that.
Scare me when I am like groggy and like going to just getting up to go to the bathroom or something.
Deserving.
Well, this time she did it, and I didn't jump. I just screamed.
You stood.
I just stood
like
there
stationary.
You know, like literally, that's what happened. And I'm like, well, I
Fabulous.
didn't run. That was a weird reaction. You know, like as if my vocalization was going to scare away the predator. Yeah. We've got American Jesus. We've got American Jesus.
We've got the next best thing. We've got an American Chicago Italian in the papal office.
Okay. Like, funny enough, like the announcement of new Pope, better than the announcement of new Coke, but you know, so we got new Pope. And that was like today's good news.
Yeah, that was the good news.
Yeah, that was the good news. It was like, oh, that's nice.
I mean, I'm going to be cautiously optimistic.
Yeah,
about
exactly. No use getting our hopes up, because I mean, it is the Pope after all. You know, they're notoriously disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's the thing, right? The last one was like, it's one of those things of like, you're still the. Francis was so weird because it was one of those things of, you're still the head of the Catholic Church, so I don't entirely trust you.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, like, what's this Pope Leo the 15th or something?
14th.
14th. Okay. Man, God damn it. There was something I was going to bring up, and now that we're on the air, it's left my little mind.
It'll come back.
It'll come back. Yeah, I'm sure it will. But the thing that it replaced it, I'm super pissed about. Because I was dealing with Babylon stuff all day. And dealing with the frustration of, look, how much is this shit going to cost me? I now have Trump running on a loop in the back of my brain going, beautiful tariffs. Tariffs are so beautiful. Such beautiful tariffs. And
I think my favorite thing that he said today, because I can have a my favorite thing that he said today was I think we're going to have a great weekend with China. We're going to have a great weekend with China. And I'm like, you're not members of the same fraternity going to Cabo for the weekend.
Right.
Because that's what that makes that sound like. We're going to have a great weekend with China. He literally said, no, we're going to have a great weekend with China. I mean, personally, I feel like I have a great relationship with President Xi.
Sure.
Do you? Do you think that? Like, Donnie, I'm sorry. I hate to be the fucking mean girl in your life right now, but I've been talking to Xi Ping. I don't call him Xi.
I
I
call
don't call
him
him president.
Ping.
I call him Xi. I call him Xi Ping. You know why? We're on first name basis. And we were at brunch the other day, and he didn't mention you.
Yes, doggy.
So,
My God. My God.
Can I just? No. I actually think that's the new way. I think we have to be mean white girls to Republicans now. I think that's the energy we need. Yeah, no, I think I'm serious. I'm absolutely serious. I actually think we just need to be the plastics in attitude towards the conservatives. I think we need to make them feel bad about themselves.
Oh my God. Like, I don't, the thing is I think they do feel bad about themselves. They just refuse to show it because, you know, emotions are for soy boys.
Well, we just need to bring back bully culture. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry, but they need to get bullied. I'm sorry, but it's true.
Man, I was watching Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, apparently Russell T Davies feels ways about podcast bros.
As he should.
I was actually surprised. He flat out created a Doctor Who villain that was a podcast bro.
I mean, have you seen Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
Have
yeah.
You
But it just the thing that like fucking floors me about the whole thing is there was this one guy, I thought he said it really apt. So the bros and these rich bros and these rich nerds got together, and because the bros wanted to feel smart and the nerds wanted to feel cool, but neither of those things is true.
You see, the truth of it is, coolness is real and anyone can attain it. In the sense of coolness can come from anywhere. Nerds can be cool, bros can be cool. It's possible. However, I don't know how else to put it. Like you know who's a cool bro?
No.
Kronk.
Oh, okay. All right. We're talking about fictional characters then. Yeah. I can think of it.
No, I'm just saying, if we're gonna go like archetype, the himbo is what happens when a bro is cool.
Gotcha. I'm just sitting here. I feel like I should be. This is not what I wanted to be talking about, but I can't think of the other thing. As I get some more coffee in me, like hopefully this will change.
Can you think of an area? If you can't think of a specific thing, can you think of an area that it's related to?
At the moment, no. My brain is just gonna have to get there when it gets there.
Okay, I'm just gonna list random things.
All right.
And you tell me if anything jumps out.
All right.
Satan, occultism, movies.
Too broad.
Recent releases. I don't know.
Yeah. See, that's what I mean. It was kind of specific. So I'm just gonna try to go through things, and hopefully it'll come to me so that I don't get trapped in a Trump loop. Because I hate that guy. I hate that guy so much. I hate him so much.
Yeah. I mean, the majority of the country is behind you.
Oh, good. Good.
Oh, yeah, because I think we always have to remember he was elected by 31% of the population.
Yeah.
And his popularity amongst that population is rapidly dwindling.
Well, I'm just kind of coming to the conclusion where it's like, all right, Look, I don't really have. We don't. I'm sitting pretty, and I'm in California, and there's a part of me that is like, well, do we really need to worry about the rest of the country?
Cat, are you there? Are you real, or is that a goblin? What's going on? Sorry, I am listening. It's just the cat's doing cat shit.
Yes.
And it's distracting. I'm sorry.
I was just thinking, like, do I really need to worry about the rest of the country? The answer really is truly yes. But like at the same time, I can't believe the podcast pros are influencing public policy. What happened?
Well, okay. Well, hold on. If you think about it, the principle is one that we've seen before. Like, consider Anita Bryant.
Oh,
I know. Hey, remember, she's dead now.
Dead, rotting in the ground.
Where she fucking belongs.
Although I'll tell you this, I always thought she should get skull fucked when she was alive, and now that she's dead, it just makes it easier.
Look at him. Look at him up there.
Oh my god.
He's trying to catch his own tail.
He's kitty.
That's if
he's got mousy. He's got thing. Yeah. Get it. Kill it dead.
When he's on that platform, you see the way he is. If he bends over far enough and he catches the side of his own tail,
yeah,
he will just start going like this while upside down and trying to capture it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
While wrapped around the platform. It's the funniest fucking thing.
We live in the dumbest timeline. Yeah, we do.
Consider.
We went from I don't know if we're still in the darkest timeline. I feel like we are, but we're definitely in the dumbest timeline.
Oh, absolutely. But I want you to consider, because I considered this thought today, mainly under copious amounts of marijuana, but I wish for you to now also consider this thought.
Okay.
Now, you may or may not remember the scientific discovery that was announced at the end of last year, beginning of this year, in which it was discovered that two supermassive black holes within around 10,000 years from now are going to collide. And
okay.
Their collision, scientists are almost positive that their collision is actually going to warp space-time.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
Yes. Now, you're not touching the... What the hell?
He's catting.
I know, but I mean, you see this, right?
I see that.
Okay.
Yep, that is the thing a cat do.
Yeah.
It's just like...
Oh, there he is. Got the tail.
I found it. I got it.
I love giving him drugs. I love giving him catnip so much. It's the funniest fucking thing. I'm gonna buy Silvervine and see how he reacts to it. But yeah. So, supermassive black holes, 10,000 years collide, warp space time. Makes sense. But consider, we know from taking drugs, from being magicians, as well as we scientifically know this from the computations of Albert Einstein, as well as the mathematical principles that were promoted by Stephen Hawking, that time is not linear. It's simultaneous.
Sympathy for anyone who gets screwed over by Trump.
That all time exists. Like, the only true thing, there only is actually just one moment that contains every other moment within itself. But
right,
our brains,
because the first particles shooting out from the Big Bang, it is still that moment.
Exactly. It's it's just that like our brains perceive it as linear because they can't fucking comprehend any other way. So with that being said, and if it warps space-time, and space-time is one unanimous thing throughout existence, how are we sure that the 10,000 years ago from the now the rippling and warping of the space-time of the supermassive black holes colliding, how do we not know that that's what sent us onto this particular timeline? Maybe that's what happened. Maybe this is the warp.
Yeah, maybe this is the warp. You know, like,
Yeah.
you know, I want my magic.
Yeah.
I want my psyker powers. You know, like, you know, come on, something.
I just felt the need to share that because I know somewhere out there watching this is going to be one lone stoner going, and I just needed to share it.
Oh, I just
also I saw something beautiful today.
Oh, what was that?
Well, there's the one end of my neighborhood has very blessedly, and by the grace of Guadalupe herself, become populated over the last 10 years with a large Hispanic community. And there's a Mexican lindo at the end of the street. And so I like to go down there because on weekends it gets the best fucking fruit and I love it. And so I was down there today because I needed more dried chilies for a specific kind of dried chilies for the like torta that I was making.
Oh, okay.
And I hear from over here, I hear a child starting to throw a tantrum, and that very hushed tone that communicated, "Don't you fucking do this," in the middle of a store. In Spanish, but you know, like that it's that hushed motherly tone of, "I know I'm being calm right now, but I need you to understand that you are not going to embarrass me in the middle of a store."
Oh dear.
And then the tantrum continued its growth, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw it. Truth and beauty. A raised hand holding a lone chunk, holding the chunkla, holding the lone.
The legends are true, you
know. And she raised it, and she was totally gonna do it. And the kid just went, "Mama, no!" And then she was like, "Then fucking stop."
And the shit off, but drop that shit like a bad habit.
And the child moved his butt against the wall and became quiet. And it was a moment of like, I saw it and I was like, I know that in this exact moment that I am occupying, everything is right with the world in this one moment.
Oh my God. Oh, thank you, Delta Oracle, for the donation. No, I have no sympathy. I have no sympathy at all. You know, bloody apathetic, bloody planet of no sympathy at all. You know,
bloody apathetic planet, no sympathy.
I was just because, well, like, okay, so like, there's this like Instagram that came across my Instagram, which, by the way, the Nazification of Instagram is well underway, apparently, because I have been getting more right-wing shit, and I'm like, Instagram, you need to learn your fucking place. Your place is to show me in this priority order boobs, toys, and horror things. That's your fucking function. That's what you do. Stop showing me, well, what we really have to do about the left is, I have a better idea. Why don't you just fucking choke on a bag of dicks? Why don't you just do that? Just choke to goddamn death. You know, when the EMTs come, I want your breathless, lifeless body to be lying there and your throat engorged with 5 dicks shoved in your mouth. I don't care if you enjoy it. Just die.
I mean, it's gotten. I don't know. I don't know how to tell you this. I don't know how to tell anyone this or say anything about it. But like the far right wing fringe space, like that space that they're still not entirely bringing to the mainstream.
Yeah.
Because they're preparing to bring it to the mainstream.
Yeah, no, they truly are.
That area is getting weird, man. I mean, weird for it. It's getting weird.
Well,
like
so often I will just like listen to something these people have to say, and my reaction is, why do you exist? Like, why do you exist? Like, what purpose do you serve in the preservation and creation of life? Like, I feel like if you're a fucking conservative, you should have 5 kids and then just immediately die. Like, you pump out that 5th kid, no, done. This branch has just been cut off. Not because I'm into population control, because I'm not. But just because
it's just you should not influence those children.
I just want them to die. I just want them to die.
¿Por qué no los dos?
Because there seems to be a certain point at which there seems to be a point at which certain people not only become useless, they become, toxic.
Oh yeah.
And realize, because I realized the other day, oh my God, making people left of them upset is the greatest joy these people have. That's it. That's their big joy. That's the thing that keeps them going day after day. What?
Well, okay. Let's. However, I just want to point out, all is not lost in and of the sense that, like, okay, for instance, I'm sure you heard that that the Washington bar's lawsuit against the Trump administration has gone through.
Okay.
So for the moment, he has been very violently stopped from pursuing any illegal actions against ACLU and like pro-immigrant lawyers in Washington. It was beautiful too. I read the judge's edict. He just fucking bitch slapped that man with words. It was beautiful. I'm serious. Like the judge who ruled on that, in her ruling statement, she like invoked poetic imagery of the 1700s in the how fucking dare you of it. It was beautiful. So that has happened. I noticed that on Temu, the prices have gone back down slightly, which, when you consider that he's saying he's talking with China this weekend, that can only mean one thing. It is not China who is bending the knee. It will, in fact, be the other way.
Oh, fuck yeah, it's going to be the other way. It's going to be the other way.
So we're going to see that humbling. It's going to be joyful.
It's the only bowing that is going to happen is due to politeness. That bow is going to hide is there. So if they bend over, you can see that behind their back very clearly is a
there's
knife.
Not a sword.
It's a knife. It's like, hey, yeah, yeah, don't get it twisted. We're playing nicey nice right now. Smile for the camera, Donnie. We're about to rape you. And I have been getting back into like my coarser tone and more blunt, direct language. Not that I feel I ever lost the skill, but I was feeling bad about it for a while.
I mean, there are certain words we should feel bad about.
Oh yeah. But like I'm not talking about like slurs or any. I'm not talking about slurs. I'm just talking about like
No, I got you.
Choking on 5 dicks, like, but
anyway,
because like, okay, so like Trixie and Katya were doing it for me for a minute,
as they should.
But I got to this insane point. Where, not with watching them, but just in general, where I was like, if I had a moment of quiet, I would just start sobbing. And I figured, excuse me, okay, I'll do this. I'll get it. I'll feel the emotion. I'll get through it. Everything will be fine. Kept happening over the course of weeks. It would fucking happen. And I realized, oh, I'm fucking sick of everything. I'm sick of everything. And here's what everything actually entails. Which is, like, so doing this Babylon thing, right? All right, so I'm making plans based on everything I did in order to make the Count Jackula show work. Be certain places, meet certain people, blah, 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 blah. And I was realizing I was hating the idea. Hating the idea. It was one of those like, hey, Jack is actually thinking about going to a convention and he absolutely hates this idea. That's not normal. Normally it'd be like, hey, Jack, do you want to come to this convention? I'm like, yeah. And if I have the money, it's like, sure. But I was realizing, there's just a lot of people I just don't want to bother dealing with. And the Countess was like, well, you don't have to do all that shit. You don't have to make this the next big thing. It could just stand or fall on its own. And I'm like, that's interesting. And I did feel the weight lift off my shoulders because it was connected to a whole bunch of other shit.
Now, I find this revelation of yours to be bemusingly bizarre for a very particular reason.
Which is?
And no judgment, no shade. But
Jack talks a lot and he has no problem self-promoting, so what the fuck?
No, not that.
Okay, all right.
Not that part. All right,
then, Dr. Bitchcraft, what is it?
Dr. Bitchcraft! I just let's party. I got a sunburn and I'm fucked now.
Yeah. I got some new furniture. I sat on the bed and it fell on my ass.
I woke up the next day on the floor and I was like, there was a mattress and a box spring here just the other. Are you okay? That's the only thing that gets her going is a box spring going up my ass. Slip out an ottoman, honey. No one has any idea what we're talking about. I'm so sorry, audience.
It's okay.
But I find this revelation to be interesting, to be musically interesting for the primary reason that while I love that your wife told you that, and I love that it made an impression, and you're like processing that information.
Yeah.
John and I have both told you that multiple times in private and on this stream. So I guess we just now know where the information has to come from.
Well, from all angles, because it takes a long time for it to emotionally fucking resonate. You know?
Okay.
You know, like, because that really was part of it. And the other part of it was that kind of divine line that I love so much. Filth are my politics, filth is my life. Because I've been talking to a lot of friends who some other streamers who have been dealing with a younger audience. You know, like Gen Z. And how they self-censor themselves. Because they'll do it around me, and I was like, bitch, you better knock that off. You don't have to self-censor around me. I know what that word is. You know, you want to call her a cunt. You can call her a cunt. I don't care. You can call this guy a fucking rapist piece of shit. You don't have to say S.A.er. You know, just like, this guy's a motherfucking rapist. You know, just be like, yeah, blunt, direct, honest language.
Well, you see, it's interesting because it's just so interesting because, like, you and I have such different experiences of that generation.
Yes, I think maybe level of queerness may actually be a factor.
No, that is true. That is true. I go no, I don't care how this makes me sound. I go out of my way to outside. Okay, at work, there are straight people at my job. Of course there are. And I have to work with and talk to and maintain politeness with them.
Don't blame you on
I go out of my way not to really associate with heterosexuals outside of that. Like, I was thinking about it. I think, family members aside, because that doesn't count, I actively know and talk with 6 straight people. Everyone else in my orbit is some flavor of queer. So, to be perfectly frank, except for when the straight world intrudes itself upon the effervescent crevasse that is my cerebrum in my ponderance room, I don't really know what's going on with them.
Yeah, I personally, in my personal like circle, I think I know 2 straight guys. 2 100% heterosexual dudes. That'd be Horror Guru and my friend Jim. They are 100% no dick. You know, 100%. Got no problem with it, but definitely is not on their bucket list.
Right.
You know, so, and I realized this is where it's going to get a little sad. I was like, okay, what happened to my circle of friends? And I think about it, and I go through the history, and I'm like, no, I know exactly what happened. I know exactly what happened. Bunch of them died, and a bunch of them had to move out of the city. That's what happened to them. That's what happened to one of those 2 things happened to the vast majority of them. Either dead or moved away. And I realized, wow, there's really nowhere to go in middle age to meet new people. And a lot of the people that you do meet in middle age, you don't want to be around. You know, like, that blows. Like, that's the part of aging I wasn't quite fucking ready for. You know, like that more than anything else that I could have been afraid of. I didn't even think that was possible. I thought like making new friends was really just a matter of being outgoing. And to be sure, like that's part of it. But I also have this thing where I hate people.
I've noticed.
Yeah, like I hate people and their stupid crap. And most people are stupid crap. You know, the majority of anybody is stupid crap. Well, I don't know. Actually, no, that's not fair.
That's okay, good. I'm glad you came to that conclusion.
That's not fair. But a vast majority of a lot of people is bullshit. You know, especially when you come to people when you get older, because people who live very uninteresting lives do tend to live longer.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is once you get to 50 and you haven't really done anything interesting, you're not likely that is almost not guaranteed not to change. You know, you don't suddenly become an interesting person at 40. You know, you could be an interesting person at 40, but chances are you were an interesting person when you were 20, if you are.
Well, it depends. Take me, for example. I'm actually not interesting. This is all a facade. But I'm really good at faking it. That's the thing. I'm really
no. You actually are legitimately interesting. I wouldn't bother talking to you if you weren't.
Fair enough, I suppose.
I mean, I get bored real easy. I get bored in conversations real easy too, despite the fact that I actually like talking to people. You know, I like talking to people and I like listening to people, but like, there's a certain type of like very normal, most likely, I assume, heterosexual that I'm just like,
See, it's
go
very
away, you know.
You see, it's very odd. It's one of those things of like, I love you and you were my friend, and knowing you is fantastic. That being said, you are so much more misanthropic than I am.
Oh yeah. Like it's one of those things where it's do I have hope for the species? Not really. Do I have hope for the continuation of life and what will come after us? I do.
See, I'm not that defeatist about it. It's just like, I don't know. It's
people, and if I don't like them, I can violently
I'm gonna say something as I sit here looking like an older Joan Crawford. I don't know why that's going on, but it is. I know you see it. We all see it.
Actually, I don't. Joan Crawford, not really.
No, actually, no. You know what? I kind of look like a brunette Betty Davis at the moment.
What? I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille.
Gloria Swanson.
Gloria Swanson. You're looking a little more like Gloria Swanson. Yeah.
I would like to thank all you beautiful people for coming here to see my film. I fucking love that movie. Sunset Boulevard. What's up, Mr. DeMille?
Yeah.
Oh my god. But no, it's gonna sound odd to say, but it's one of those things where I do mean this. I have a Lynchian fascination with the minutia of everyday conversation. I do. I would find it fascinating to walk into a diner in the Pacific Northwest, go up to a random plumber sitting and drinking coffee and then go, tell me, how exactly does a U-bend work? And just listen to him describe that. Even if I already know the answer, I'm just fascinated by the little repetitive mechanical intricacies of the minutia of everyday.
Well, right, because that's an honest conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's an honest conversation. What I'm saying is very often you find yourself in not very honest conversations where the person is way more into projecting an image than sharing something with you, you know, and we all do that to a certain extent. But I find people who do that, like, as a force of habit, to be very tiresome. That is put on the facade of like normalcy. Because I don't trust it. I was talking to my friend Seth like over lunch, and one of the things I said is I don't trust anyone who doesn't show me the devil inside. Now that devil doesn't need to be it doesn't need to be super awful. But we were talking about Trixie and Katja. We see the devil inside because they're bitches. You know, like we see that and we can kind of trust that. We saw the devil inside of John Waters. That it's called his movies. And anytime he made a public appearance, you know, like when he's smoking, can't smoke in this theater. Don't you wish you had one of these?
You know, it's kind of like how, like, you know, the devil inside Brian McCook is Katya Zemolochikova.
Yeah. That's the devil.
You know,
and I like to see that, and I don't like it. I don't mind if it's gussied up and tricked out, but I don't like it when it's like trying to put on the facade of politeness, because I'm like, that's language of the enemy in my mind. You know, because I'm like, the more polite company I'm in, the more insufferable I find it. Because I'm like, you don't care and you don't want to be doing this. Why are you doing this? You know, it's like, well, I have to worry about my social status and my income. Okay. Why don't you go worry about that over there away from me?
How are you okay, I mean this legitimately only because I wish to like fully grasp the concept. How are you defining polite in this? Because I would consider myself a very polite person.
We don't have a really good word for it.
Okay.
Because in Chinese, there's a phrase that can be used, which is "stop giving me face."
People put people in furnaces in the 1940s.
You know, it's "stop giving me face." You know, knock that shit off. That's not real. I know it's fucking not. You're just doing this in order to save face. Stop it.
Oh, you're talking about wait, no, I just had it. I just had it. You're talking about socially driven superficiality.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Because I'm sorry. It's just one of those things where it's like, because I don't appreciate or approve of in former generations past, the association with the concept of politeness in the concept of, well, you know, polite society. No. You invented that in the past 50 years. Stop that. Stop that right now. That's not what that word means. Stop that right now.
Yeah.
You know, because like for instance, okay, for me, when I reach an age that would be for retirement, if retirement is a thing, if we can save the world that much, my idyllic retirement is essentially just, well, I'm going off over here. To do what? I'm going to live like it's fucking Wind in the Willows every fucking day, and you literally can't stop me. It's like, that seems quiet and dull. Yes. Away from you.
Yeah. It's that falseness. It's that falseness. And I get very, 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 very tired of it. It's one of the reasons I do very poorly in office environments, because that's what it is most of the time. You know, you put me in a typical office environment and I go crazy. Not necessarily. There you know, there are exceptions. But the other thing is that I find people who are too polite are the most treacherous.
Well, yeah, because there's a performity to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know, no.
Yeah, someone who tells me that they don't have a dark side has a collection of little shoes. Little bloody shoes somewhere, you know, like, and I've yet.
And they're all left for some reason.
Yeah, all left shoes. And I gotta be honest, I've been taken in a lot by that, you know, because you want to find the person who's just genuinely good and nice. But I found that there's Mr. Rogers, and then that's kind of it. Like,
no, I don't believe that that's it. I just believe that everyone else who is like that is just so unassuming that we don't recognize.
Yeah, it. well, then, you know, I don't know. I'm still suspicious of Mr. Rogers. You know, I haven't found
because it's been this long.
Yeah, because it's been that long. Yeah,
and there's no skeletons in the closet.
Yeah,
so
I'm like,
far.
The only skeleton in the closet seems to be that he liked to swim nude.
Which, is that really a skeleton in the closet?
Yeah, I don't know if that's a skeleton in the closet. It's a little odd, but like, I don't know.
No, it's not. It makes sense. Swimming with clothes is cumbersome.
Yeah. What is a man? A filthy little pile of secrets.
It's
yeah. I like just going through my own life and just going like, yeah, the nicer a person seemed to be, the worse it tended to get. You know, I speak from a lot of experience, and it's depressing. I'm not going to lie. It is depressing, because you do want to believe that a person who comes off as a good person is, but they're not always.
See, I have found that the thing that works for me in balancing my genuine politeness with my blunt bitchiness is I will eventually come up with a word for it. But like I try to mix them together in conversation, in how I, like, for instance, this happened the other day at work during our collective break, when one of my coworkers started talking to me about something. I was like, oh, that's cool. And they kept talking, and then they kept it while I was trying to read something. And I turned to them, and legitimately what I said was, oh, okay. Hey, yeah. I need you to understand, and I'm so sorry about this, but it is true. I do not care about this conversation right now. I love that what you're talking about is making you happy and you're excited about it. I love that for you. And I really wish that I could share in that with you. But to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not there emotionally or mentally right now. So I honestly just don't care about this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I turn into Wednesday Addams. How dare you speak to me? Yeah.
And the weird thing is though, I said that and the person was like, I feel that if anyone else said that, it would be rude, but that was so eloquent and honest. And I also have had that feeling while talking to people. I understand. I'm sorry. We'll talk later. I said, cool. And it just worked. It just, yeah, no, it just works. I don't know what to tell you. I honestly think that everyone finds it refreshing if you're blunt and honest, but also express that you also understand with and empathize with them on an emotional level. If you just say shit like that to people, they tend to respond well to it. And the thing is, people go like, that seems really hyper direct and blunt in an unnatural way. I'm sure it seems that way. And yet people really appreciate that straight communication.
Yeah. Like, well, I think a lot of people do because even like, super normal people, because that's all they get usually is the super normal conversation. And that is, what people refer to derogatorily as small talk.
See, I love small talk, but it has to get weird.
Yeah. Well, like, to me, once it gets weird, it's not small talk anymore. But like, to me, the purpose of small talk is to feel out whether the person is up for any sort of conversation. That's its purpose. Its purpose is to just be like, you want to talk? Of course, you could just say that. That has about the same hit to miss ratio as anything else.
I think I really do. The more I hear you explain to me what like infuriates you about these type of people and how they act, the more I realize that working as a teacher and educational assistant in like focusing on autism was the right call for me, because I will be perfectly 100% honest with you. Like our students in our program with our staff and faculty are so self-contained. And one thing working with children who have ASD is that you learn how to you learn how to communicate thoughts and feelings in various different ways, both direct and roundabout. And at some point you as the faculty in that situation start to realize, wait, we can just talk to each other like that. And it would save a lot of time. And nobody judges each other about the weird fucking tangents we go on or the bizarre spider web of ideas that we talk about. And it just works. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I think the less neurotypically focused general society becomes and the more holistic society becomes, this is going to be less of a problem.
I hope so. But I hope so. One of that I do feel a little I have a friend who has two kids who are, autistic, and they are not on the light end of the spectrum.
Okay.
And I get really angry on his behalf, not because of his kids, but because of things that some people say to him. Oh, he should do this. Oh, he should do that. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no. No. I ended a party like this once. You know, I was like, that's not how that works. Give the man some fucking credit. You know, turns out raising two severely, and I do mean severely, autistic children is kind of hard, and no one knows exactly what they should be doing. That's the big part. No one knows. Everyone's just doing their best.
Well, yeah, it's a process, man. It's not,
Yeah, like, and having met a lot of people on the autism spectrum, it's one of those like, oh yeah, there are levels to this.
Well, it's not even levels. It's positionings across like a 3-dimensional grid. It's not even levels. It's just random positioning.
Yeah, but I don't understand. Yeah, but I don't understand what that grid means. So, I've tried and I can't do it.
You don't have to understand.
I haven't cracked the nut yet.
Well, here's the thing. The glorious thing about it is you don't need to understand the whole grid. You don't need to understand the entire thing.
Okay.
Because let's all just remember this. The only people we need to really 100% understand that are experts.
Well, right.
Those are the only people.
Yeah, but let me put it this way. I don't know if there are quadrants, if it's up, left, down. All I know is that there are people who are autistic but function.
It's okay. So,
and then there are some that don't.
So, okay. Consider it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Literally picture a human, like think of a human brain.
Okay.
Think of neural map, think of like illustrated neural maps for the various neurons and pathways through the brain that you've seen.
Right.
So most people who are neurotypical, who have, no neurodivergences, like no ADHD, no OCD, no ASD, anything.
Freaks.
And I won't say normal because I don't like that word for various reasons. I will, however, say the most common pattern.
Okay.
Which I feel is true. It is the most common pattern.
Well, I know what you're getting at. Yeah.
So what neurodivergence means is that that neural pathway, that neural map just doesn't follow the typical pattern. It is wired differently. And ASD specifically, it's one of those things where it's like within it has a wide array of different neural mapping styles.
Right.
And like, for instance, so it's not like more or less autistic. It's autistic, but how is your neural pattern? It's just, and it's such a variation.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So it's not a sliding scale. It's not a binary. It's not a binary, and it's not a sliding scale. It's literally a webbing connection.
Okay, so we'll put it this way. They're very low in social and
like you're talking about social and cognitive functionality. Or executive functionality.
I think executive functionality is probably the one I'm thinking of. So they're very, very low in social and executive functioning.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, for example, the one kid can't talk, but he is basically nonverbal.
Okay.
Can
he? But here's my question.
But he understands language. He can speak if pushed.
Does he have other methods of communication he prefers when he wishes to? Does he communicate when he desires to or when he needs something?
Not well.
Okay, fair enough.
This is what I mean. Like, he doesn't. That's. It's hard to meet a child's needs if you can't get to what it is the child's after. But I think it's social awareness and executive functioning is where things are going wrong.
Because the thing is this, right? And this is what I try to. I think the most common, and I'm not saying you're saying this, I'm just saying it out loud, both for your benefit and anybody else watching at home. The thing that annoys me the most in my job is when people speak about people with autism, especially younger people with autism, as if like they're talking about, it's as if they're talking about people who are damaged or slow. And I don't like that. Like that's the way in which they are speaking about.
Well, it also seems to be a bit. Yeah. Because it doesn't mean that they're stupid.
No, not at all. And actually, because here's the thing, right? This is what I want you to think about. And it's literally okay. As someone with ADHD who has gone through the public educational system, you should understand where I'm going to go with what I'm about to say.
I probably do.
Yeah, which is like, this is the metaphor I like to use with people. I'm like, okay, I want you to imagine that you don't see the color red.
Right, yeah.
You don't fucking see it. It either appears as like a different color or you just straight can't fucking perceive it.
It's now invisible.
Yeah. So, okay. Now and specific. Okay, so imagine that you can't see the color red. Now,
right.
I want you to imagine you in school, especially the formative years of education and socialization. This is like kindergarten up through really like K through 12 is really socialization, but like at some point, like past middle school, we start to shift more towards the academic. But in these like formative social educational years, I want you to imagine that again, you can't see red, but you are the only person in your class, maybe even in your school, who can't see red. Everybody else can. Everybody else talks about red, and everyone else has the same shared experience of what that color looks like, similar reactions to how it makes them feel emotionally, what they associate it with, all this. So there builds this culture around understanding red and perceiving red.
Right.
And no one ever realizes until way later that you literally cannot perceive or see the color red.
Right.
So all of like the bulk of this social learning around the color red, you may now be able to learn through a system that is geared for your perceptions, but it's now going to take you longer. This will be happening later in your life. So there's the appearance of a delay, but the delay is not you. The delay is the fault of the system not being able to recognize your needs. In this same way, when people run into like my students, for example, and it's just like, no, they're not unintelligent. It's not that they can't comprehend. It's not that they can't learn. It's not that they can't do or understand. It's literally that their brain is mapped in a different way. And the entire formative years of their education, no one noticed that. And there was nothing, no program for their type of necessitated learning.
Right.
So now we are picking up slack.
Right. But this is his kids actually did get that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they actually did get that. Good. But you can tell that, like,
and that's not to say, by the way, I want to point out, that's not to say that there aren't certain manifestations of this neurodivergence that aren't in this area that you're talking about. I'm not,
right. Like well, my point is, kid is now like entering his 20s and has shown only marginally improvement in these areas. So it's like, okay, that this is about as good as we can expect that it's gonna be. This is, this is where this person's at.
And I'm assuming then, knowing that, even though his father goes through a lot, he loves his son, and his son knows that he loves him.
I hope the kid does. I know the dad does. Because it's hard to communicate with him.
Fair enough.
So I don't know what's going on.
But then at that point, except for like professionals and experts offering help when warranted, everyone else should just mind their fucking business.
See, that's what I was saying. I'm like, there is no way I understand raising an autistic kid better than this man.
The guy who's doing it.
There's no way. So if he's saying like, no, that doesn't work, guess what? I have to believe him. I believe him. So it was always really weird. Where was I going with this? I was actually going somewhere with this.
Well, I think we were talking about the people who tell him like, you should do this, you should do that, and you were just like, no, fuck that shit.
No, fuck that shit. No. We know this guy. We know he's a good person. We've known him for a very long time, unless he's got actually got a literal collection of little bloody shoes or something that we haven't found. I have no reason to believe that he's not a decent guy. I've seen him on bad days. I've seen him on very bad days. He gets frustrated. He never blames his kids.
See, that's
sometimes he's frustrated because he's like, man, I feel like no one's helping me. And I found myself going like, I know what you mean.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like we all deserve support.
Yeah. And I don't understand why. It's one of those things where I found myself going like, I don't think the man needs criticism. I'm pretty sure that his head is full of that self-criticism. And he's not coddling his kids. His kids have special needs.
The man doesn't need your criticism. He needs a day off and a sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You want to help? Take him out for ice cream or something. I don't know. He might be diabetic, but whatever. Whatever treat he could handle, take him for that one. I just, wow. Just wow. And like the thing that this is not going to surprise you.
Okay.
Which is the person who's doing the criticism. I'm like, you have the coddled kid. Your kid literally had their grades bought. Don't hand me that.
I'm gonna make an assumption right now.
Yeah.
and I know that you'll forgive me for the assumption.
Yeah.
But I make it, which is I make an assumption, which is this lady white.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like white, like waspy white, like not even slightly spicy white, like white.
They come from they themselves may be spicy, but they come from a very, very, very white world.
Like, does she look like the type of woman who would be in an Activia commercial?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So there's there is a limit. Okay.
No, there is. I mean, I do know this person.
Oh, okay.
You know,
so,
like there is a minimum. There is a minimum that one must reach in order for me to consider knowing you.
Do you look white enough? Are you white enough to be in an Activia
commercial? No, not that white. You know.
I'm sorry. I just cracked myself up. Look at
man. Oh, you know what I fucking found out? There's a trend now. Like I don't know how big of a trend it is, but it is a trend.
Is this the thing you wanted to talk about?
No.
Okay.
No. Clean life.
Meaning
I'm getting rid of my tattoos and leading a clean life.
Is that the only context in which this is being used?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not the only context in which this is being used.
Please give me more, because I need at least something to like grasp onto here.
Okay. No more sleeping around. No, it's basically straight edge in reverse. It's trying to retroactively be straight edge.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, here's the thing. I think we should. Okay. I think I'm more radical than a lot of people, including yourself. I think I'm more radical even than you, sir, because I'm about to say something that's so fucking radical that you're going to think it's a psyop.
Oh, shit.
Which is this.
Okay.
I think it's okay for people to want to be square. I think that's okay. I don't mind if people want to be square. I really fucking don't. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
All right, and let you finish your statement before I...
There's a justification for this.
Yeah.
The only problem with squareness is when it insists that it must be experienced by all. That
it insists upon
itself. Literally, that is the only problem with it. Like, because I know that they exist. I have met these people. I have befriended them. People who are square as shit. The kind of people who wear button-ups under cardigans.
Yeah, that's pretty
bad. Kind of people who personally don't curse and say things like, well, gosh, and bring Rice Krispie squares to parties.
Hey, nothing wrong with Rice Krispie squares, except I can't eat them anymore.
No. I know, but inside all of this, it creates a very specific energy.
Gotcha.
Okay, I have met these people. They exist. But people who are like that, but then are fine hanging with freaks and pass no judgment on the freaks that they hang out with. Those people exist. And here, that's really the only thing, man. Again, the only problem with squareness is when it insists upon itself, when it wishes to spread itself.
You know that episode of Metalocalypse where they go to the fucking straight edge concert? Because Dr. Clownstein is not Dr. Clownstein. Dr. Roxo.
Dr. Roxo is clean.
Dr. Roxo is clean. And
Snakes and Ladders reunion tour.
Yeah,
that's what it is. The Snakes and Ladders episode.
Yeah. And there's this guy yelling in Toki's ear the entire time until Toki loses it and fucking kills the guy.
Yeah.
Toki, I'm gonna. What the fucks do you want? Hey, bro. That, I am
Yeah.
Toki. I am Toki when it comes to straight edge. It drives me up the wall because I find myself going, you don't have to tell me about all the things you don't do. Because I don't find that particularly, what you don't do, to be particularly interesting.
See, that's again, this is the problem. The problem is the self-insistence. That is the problem. But here's the thing. That's the problem I feel with everything. With every group. That is the problem. If you want to live like a 1950s Mormon, I could give less of a shit as long as you don't fuck with my shit.
Yeah, but that's the nature. But the nature of the beast is that it does.
The nature of this incarnation of the beast, because as I have said, I have
no.
Whoa,
no. This I'll argue on.
Hold up.
Okay.
Because like I'm saying, I have met these people who live this very square chamomile knitting life. I have met these people, and then they will like have fucking like crust punks in their house and go like, and how was your day? It's insane. But I know these people. I know that they are real. And it's one of those things where it's one of those things where it's like the only problem is the self-insistence. Well, this form of it, if you're like, well, this form of it relies on the self-insistence. Okay, cool. Then we get rid of that.
I'm willing. I could agree with that. Like,
yeah.
Here's the thing, because I've noticed it's a pattern. I've seen it in the anime community. I've seen it in science fiction fandom. I've seen it in even the punk fandom. It goes like this. First, you have straight edge, or whatever it's calling itself these days.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get Christian groups.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get Nazis. That's an actual progression I have witnessed. You know, and it, oh my God. Talk about invading a space. I mean, we are talking about Nazis. They like to invade places, and apparently every fandom is Poland. Or Czechoslovakia. You know, if we're going to talk about Nazis specifically. You know, because everyone invades Poland, you know.
Czechoslovakia is so full of gay porn. Anyway.
Yes. Yeah, but like, apparently every fandom is just Czechoslovakia, because like Nazis always fucking show up, and it's usually in that progression.
Well,
I think it's because a lot because there are two things going on.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple of things going on. One, Nazis are, whether or not you believe me, trust me, this is true, heavily into purity culture. They're really heavily into it.
Well, yeah, because
to the point where they become eugenicists about it.
Well, yeah, because their whole thing is ethno-nationalism. They use talking points such as protecting society from moral degeneracy, you know, and they're proto-natalists. So yeah, purity culture. Yeah.
That's how it gets in. And you get like, and among the straight edge kids, you have like the three, you got a Venn diagram. Mm-hmm. Straight edge, but otherwise normal. Then there's straight edge Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the intersection between that and flat out Nazis. And
See,
like, furry fandom is another example of someplace that happened.
Which is so weird because the vast majority of the furry fandom is so chill. It's not even funny.
Oh yeah. But like, you know, the
but yet there's still a corner. They showed up.
There's still a corner. They still show up. You know, I hope. I've been led to believe that they regularly get their ass beat, which is as it should be.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
I will say this. You're not gonna like it. I'm gonna say this, and you're not gonna like it.
All right.
We're hitting hard today.
Oh, okay.
When it comes to fighting American fascism, because we can just be honest about it now.
Yeah. We're there, baby.
Yeah. When it comes to fighting American fascism, liberals, shut the fuck up and listen to the leftists. Get your fucking shit together.
Why would I have a problem with you saying that?
No.
We're not there yet. Okay.
We're not there yet. Liberals, get your shit together, listen to the leftists, and everybody, and I don't fucking care how you feel about it. You're going to play nice and work with the progressive socially aware Christians. You're gonna fucking play nice with them and you're gonna fucking work with them. But I believe that Christianity is a drug and a lie. I don't fucking give a shit what you think. I don't fucking give a shit. This is everybody. I don't give a fucking shit what you think. If you meet Christians who are pro-LGBT and pro-socialistic agenda, you fucking work with them. They are your comrades, and you will work with them. I'm fucking sick of hearing this shit. I'm sorry. Now I'm just angry about something.
I'm like, so you not tell me this. I've been willing. Dude.
I'm fucking sick and tired. I'm fucking sick. Let me tell you what. Let me
okay. Do you mind if could you hold that thought? Because I think I'm gonna need a drink.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, all right. Hold on to it, brother. You got it.
I'm gonna yell.
You got it.
I'm gonna yell about something. I'm gonna yell about something. I'm gonna yell about something. I need a tattoo on my ass that just says, Jesus ain't say that. That's what I need. I need that. Someone put that tattoo on my hand. Yogi's still mad at TJ. I'm mad at so much. I'm mad at so many things. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you actually enjoy watching us rant about this shit. I really do, because at the end of the day, it's supposed to be a show, so I hope that you genuinely get entertainment out of this. What do I think of Pope Bob? What do I think? What do I think of Pope Leo the 14th? What do I think about him? I'm cautiously optimistic about him. because now I will admit my Italian is not very strong. I listened to his address without a translation, and I tried very hard to parse through it. But from what I could understand and pick up and decipher, I appreciate that he thinks Francis is an illuminary of the church. I appreciate that he wants to continue in his footsteps. I appreciate that he is talking about the universal family of Christ. I appreciate that he is anti-Trump, anti-Trump, pro-Palestine, pro-migrant, and he believes we should that the church should ease up on LGBT people. Now, I am not thrilled about the fact that he, much like Francis, was very against the ordination of female deacons in the Roman Catholic Church. But we take what we can get. And it's one of these things of, no matter how much we don't like it, we have to acknowledge that that seat in Rome still has a lot of socio-political impact. And the way things are going in the world right now, that seat is either going to be a major thorn in our side or a boon to us. And I'm cautiously optimistic about the current occupant. I hope, Sun Wizard, I hope that was a full enough answer.
Oh, Babylon, our home and native
land. But let me tell you, I'm fucking sick and tired of going on to any online space with younger leftists. They're fucking complaining about the people that we have to work with, and I'm just like, you still have to fucking work with them. I don't give a shit how you feel about it. But if we really want to understand the theory, shut the fuck up. It is boots on the ground time. Stop it.
Yeah, it's praxis time. Come on.
It's time to do. Hi, have you built an alternative system yet? If the answer is no, then shut the fuck up.
Well, yeah. It's like how I get frustrated with people who want to have a third party politically. It's not that that's a bad idea. It's that the American system makes that untenable. And there's not really a way around it unless we absolutely and utterly change the way Congress is structured. And I mean from the ground up. And you might expect, whoa, that sounds like a lot. It is. It's a big ask. It's essentially a different country.
Yeah.
You know, because we don't have a parliamentary, our parliamentary system does not, I don't know if it was intended to always essentially have two political parties, but that's how it shakes out. And that shakeout is a direct fucking output of the way that the entire system is fucking built and how it votes.
Look, it's one of those things where the Democratic Convention needs to fundamentally change and reorient itself, or it needs to die, and a newer, younger, fresher party of a different name needs to take its place. One of the two needs to happen. And everyone who's like, well, those both seem like major radical changes. Yeah, well, here's the fucking problem. We currently have a guy sitting in the head executive office saying that he doesn't feel like he needs to uphold the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what? The radical different time has already come. It's already here. We're going to get it one way or the other. Now, if you want it to eventually actually go towards a more positive and socially equitable situation, then you're gonna have to fucking put on your big boy pants, tie your combat boot laces, and actually get to doing one of these two things. Well, what happens if we don't? It's over.
Yeah. Like,
You know?
one of the things that frustrates the shit out of me, like, we talk about rule of law in this country a lot. One of the big problems of that in America, this is not necessarily a problem in a lot of other countries.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way to enforce that upon the executive branch. That's a problem. The executive, you can't enforce anything against the executive branch. And by enforce, I mean like force. You know, you can only get them to say, okay, well, according to the rules, I lost. Not quite same thing.
That's the thing, right? It's one of those things of like, people talk about, well, what about the checks and balances? Yeah, that's true. And here's the thing about it. This is where I love how what I'm watching in real time is a lot of people legitimately be shocked at finally and truly understanding, wait, you mean society's just a bunch of shit that we collectively agree on, and it only works because we collectively agree on it? Yeah, that's how it's like, but what about my sense of reality? Fuck your reality. Fuck your stability. It's all bullshit. Now, the joy about it being all bullshit means we can make it nice bullshit, but we got to actually do it.
Yeah. Well, like, here's another thing. Here's another problem. Because America's got a lot of problems. Like make no mistake, what's happening right now is all of America's weaknesses coming home to roost. The inability to rein in the executive branch by force. And by force, I mean, like, who arrests the president? In a lot of other democracies, there's an answer. Like, there's a flat out answer. Who arrests the president? And how does this happen? Like, but because right now, all Congress can do against the executive branch is impeach him. That's not the same as arresting.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So, for example, in Taiwan, the is it Parliament? The legislature.
Mm-hmm.
The legislature can look to the armed forces and go arrest that man.
Yeah, if it's
the armed forces has the authority to arrest the president on the command of the legislature and with the approval of the judiciary. You get those two get together, they decide we got to get rid of this guy, and then they command the armed forces to go.
Well, that's the thing. But here's the thing: the reason why laws like that exist in Taiwan and many other countries east of us, both European and Asian, the reason why those rules of law exist there and not here is a very simple answer as to why.
Yeah.
Which is all those other places have had to actually deal with that before.
Yeah.
Somewhere in their history, in most European or Asiatic history, every country or kingdom has had to deal with a tyrannical executive despot who they then have to be able to get the fuck out of the seat. We haven't had that really. We've gone blissfully unaware of such needs.
But the funny thing is that it has come up in our country before. It has come up. And I can give you the biggest fucking example.
Oh, go ahead, please.
Abraham Lincoln.
Okay.
Once he became president, what was the Confederacy could only secede.
Right.
They couldn't rally support. Because remember, they kept referring to him as a tyrant. They couldn't rally support within the legislature and the judiciary and go like, we get rid of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
That option was simply not open. That it doesn't exist.
Right.
So whether or not, I mean, I don't consider Lincoln a tyrant, but he is someone that people within the government could have plotted to get out in a legal way, would have plotted to get out in a legal way had it been open.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah. Also, the other problem with the United States is quite simply this. Our police force is based around enforcing slave laws.
Mm-hmm.
And slave rules. It's the thing that it's based on.
Yeah.
It's the model it's based on.
Same thing with the prison system.
Yeah, same thing with the prison system. That is a check and balance on the electorate, on the voters, not anyone else.
Correct.
Not all law enforcement agencies work that way.
Right.
Now don't get me wrong. They all use force. They all abuse the shit out of their position. They're all lazy. A lot of them are stupid. But the bullshit that they're able to get away with is defined differently. So if you want to know, like, why, I mean, like, I'm sure I don't have to fucking remind too many people in the chat this, but there's a reason black people don't trust the police.
Oh, you've noticed?
Yeah, I've known that since I was 10. Yeah, America also is, it is also a young country, but it's not as young as Taiwan.
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah.
I just want a general question for everybody. Since you brought up Taiwan and someone brought up Korea, someone just brought up Korea as well. Hey, isn't it really weird that the Prime Minister of Japan got assassinated 3 years ago and we just don't talk about it?
We did kind of forget that happened.
Yeah, that happened.
We did kind of forget that happened. Yeah.
Or hey, do you remember? I'm just gonna start doing this now. Do you remember?
Why isn't Japan completely fucking descended into fascism yet? Better aim.
Because we don't need fascism. We have an emperor. We don't need fascism. We have an imperial system. Oh, the chrysanthemum throne, the gayest throne I've ever heard of in my life. I'm sorry, Japan. Your throne is gay. I'm sorry. You're gay. But in Japan, the chrysanthemum has a rich symbolic history of... No. I know. But the name of the flower is chrysanthemum. It's the gayest flower. I'm sorry.
I wonder if it sounds like that queer in Japanese. Because I don't actually know what the word is. Maybe it sounds like really threatening in Japanese.
I would love for that to be true, because I love getting proven wrong about shit like this, in all honesty. I really do.
Prime Minister was assassinated. Everyone just went, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, that literally happened.
Everyone was just like, all right. Like, he wasn't that popular a guy.
And so I don't feel that anyone actually looked into it.
No, they looked into it. They made sure they got the right guy. They know everything about everything. It's just
did they? Okay.
Yeah. They caught the guy immediately. But at the end of the day, I think too much of Japan was like, oh, thank God he's gone.
Wait, okay.
They looked into it. They made sure they got the right guy.
Oh no. Anyway, okay, let's see. Okay, so chrysanthemum in Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. I literally just asked you to say the thing. It's literally just... It's kiku. No. Kiku.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's a little gay. It sounds a little gay.
Yeah, you can see Madame Butterfly saying that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like up there with like the, you know, ooh.
Yeah. So
Yoshi. Sorry, I don't know why.
No. Flashman, Japan was like, I'll see your Luigi Mangione and raise you 2 years prior. Oh, no. How is everyone loving the fact that he is most likely gonna get off?
This, I find myself going, I feel that this is something of a miscarriage of justice in a technical sense, but I kind of want to see where this goes.
Hey, think about it though. So far, it's because the problem is that the state and the police did not follow the rules. And then they dropped the evidence that they did not follow the rules. So really, this is justice. And also, true justice would be more billionaires getting shot.
Yeah,
so,
true.
So,
in the larger sense, you know, man.
So really, this is a victory for justice and a victory for legalism.
Why was Abe killed? He was trying to bring back the Japanese Empire.
Like, legitimately, he wanted to invade places.
Yeah, he was trying to become emperor. You know, like that. Japan was like, no, we tried that before. Remember?
Hey, man. In the name of the Father, the Son, and Luigi Mangione.
Yeah. Oh my God. You know, the one that used to be the Moonies. Yeah, was he? Yeah. It's just, but it's definitely one of those things where it's like Japan was like, yeah, okay, we could be cool about this. There's going to be continuance of government, right? Cool.
You can't. See, that's the thing, man. You can't be a cult member and try to be the Japanese prime minister. Japan's too finicky about that.
They're a little squirrely about that crap. You know, they're way squirrelier about that. I don't know. I seem to remember sarin gas. Remember something about that?
I'll
like,
never
This is why I have hope for America. We don't do real revolutions really well on either side of the aisle. We're kind of incompetent at tyranny.
I was about to say, the one thing that's been making me feel a bit better about all this is, like, you've noticed this, right? All the people who are on board with the fascism, who are actually in charge of things right now, are all the dumbbells.
Yes. Well, it was gonna be in America.
Yeah. No. I'm saying the ones in America who are down with the fascism and in charge of things are all dum-dums. They're all literally the stupidest members of the group.
Yeah.
It's because here's the thing. I want to point this out. Incompetent evil does not succeed often.
No.
It does. It's like a bull in a china shop and makes a lot of fucking mess. But very quickly, it is captured, sedated, and escorted out of the china shop.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, but to be evil, you got to be clever.
Yeah.
You can't be stupid and evil. It just doesn't work. You know, it's just it's a not.
Oh, Flash was like, no, Abe was killed because he was tied to the Moonies, and the kid wanted vengeance on the cult.
Well, okay. Is anyone really upset about it?
I'm not really upset about it. You know, like, I mean, one, I'm not in Japan, so like that'll help. You know.
As far as I remember, the government
fucking Whiskey Leaks in charge of the military. I know, I know, right? I don't want to.
I'm sorry, I included my wife. I included my wife on the signal chat. Oh, I included her on the signal chat. I'm sorry, did you just say you signal chat? Military secret signal chat. Is that what you said?
I mean, you know the reason I use signal chat? Because I don't have access to military encryption. You had access to military encryption.
If I had access to military
and there's
encryption,
no reason not to use military encryption, because in order to perform attack on a foreign country, you're going to need to let the military know. It's like, quick, we can't let the military know this plan that we want them to fucking do.
I love how many soldiers hate this administration.
I'm pleased as well. I'm pleased as well, because there's some fucking bullshit going on, and it's all dumb, it's all stupid, and it's bad for you.
Have you been watching? By the way, have you been watching?
I got a new phone.
Yeah, see, how you liking it?
It works better than the old phone.
There you go.
That's about where I'm at with it. You know,
that's good. That's good.
Apparently, that 5G sucks up data like a motherfucker, though.
It really fucking does. And remember, everybody, if you're going to be crossing an American border and coming back, like because of vacation or trips or visiting, anything like that, do not take your real phone with you out of the country.
Yeah.
Buy a burner. They're plugging shit in when you come back, scanning it, and implanting spyware in your fucking phone. They're admitting that they're doing it.
Oh, Jesus freaking Christ. So, I gotta tell you, speaking of government, so as you probably know, because I've told you, is I've been trying to get my certified copy of my change of name documents.
Mm-hmm.
Have I told you the latest? Obviously not. So, to catch everyone up, I've been trying to get this document. I've tried 3 times. It's 3 times failed. Instead, they just send me my birth certificate. That is not what I need. I now have 3 certified copies of my birth certificate, which is not
interesting,
the worst thing, but kind of like, I have 3 different birth certificates, all on 3 different types of paper.
What am I meant to do with this?
It's a little odd, but whatever. So I finally find out that I have to call the circuit court where I was born and request this document. So I do that, and they're like, this is the wrong number. And I'm like, can you give me the right number? And they're like, okay, here's the number. Thank you. I call the number. And instead of, hi, welcome to the blankety blank county court's office. If you would like to be connected with blah, 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 instead of any of that shit, I'm greeted with, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like Maryland.
Is this the,
blankety blank
Prince
County,
George's County Circuit Court Archives? Yes. Okay.
I
need my, my official certified copy, David Change document. Help me, please. Okay. Do you have the case number? I have a thing here called the docket number. Is that the same thing? No. The case number starts with these letters. Well, this number starts with these letters. Okay, that's it. Now, first of all, I'm like, oh, we're off to an awesome start. Like, the county archiver, apparently the filing system is so bad that they changed the name of the thing that it was, and the archiver didn't know this.
before you get pissy at the archiver themselves, I just want to point out you lived in that county.
Oh,
you lived in
yeah.
Prince James County. You lived
Oh, yeah.
there.
No. I am basically expecting that my document is in a brown metal fucking filing cabinet that still has the key that it came with. In fact, I bet it doesn't even have a key. It's just there.
There's a big old rust spot right on the top.
Big old rust spot on the top, like, covered in, like, paperwork. Oh, yeah, this is where we keep all the important information under the fax machine.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying, right? You lived in this county. Do you really telling me you think that these people are diverting enough of the tax revenue to the fucking infrastructure?
I believe that they're dumb enough to pay to pay more money to do it the stupid way.
And that archiver probably deals with that fact on a daily basis.
Anyway, I'm like, yeah, so I want that. I need a copy of it. It needs to be certified. He's like, all right, send us a $5 check. What?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, now here's the thing. I am not saying, he says, yeah, just send us $5 and we'll fucking handle it. I'm saying he literally just said, make out a $5 check. And I'm like, okay, I got to find my checkbook because I haven't written a check in years.
I'm very lucky that everything for my county and state can be done through a fucking credit card.
No, you are. Yeah. So, and I'm like, okay, so what? Obviously, when I send this letter, I have to tell you what I want, what needs to go in the letter. And he's like, well, we need the case number and that you need it to be a certified copy and where to mail it. And I'm like, okay, if I send you a cocktail napkin with that written in crayon, is that good enough? Yes. Okay. So I type up the thing.
I actually love this guy. I love this guy.
I was like, okay. So I write the thing up. I put it in like 70-point fucking font.
Mm-hmm.
Just one sheet of paper. Here's case number. Bam. Send to bam. I wrote a $5 check to the courthouse. I then put a stamp, put it in an envelope, wrote the address and turned address on the envelope, put a stamp on it, walked out to the mailbox and put it in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting here going, did I do that right? I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
The lack of feedback is disturbing.
What do you mean? That's how you send a letter.
That's how I send a letter. I am used to a little bit more, I don't know, security theater or something.
No,
when
it's
it
unnecessary.
Comes to government documents.
See, here's the thing. I know you're trying to get my sympathy with this story, but I'm sorry. The archivist is my hero. I'm sorry. He's the hero of this story. I love him.
I'm just horrified. Because I'm like, I could be anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Like, I could be anybody. It's like, all right, well, here's your change your name certificate. Now, I guess it doesn't do you any good unless you also have the birth certificate, and to get that, you have to know, like, the social security number and all that shit.
Exactly.
But it was weird. It was that moment in Brazil. I could be anyone. No, you couldn't, sir. This is information retrieval. Okay.
It's also here's the thing though.
Yeah.
It's also, that's the issue with public record. If it's public record, That means anyone in the public is legally allowed to access it. So it doesn't matter who you are.
And people wonder how they get, like, people get, like, fake birth certificates and shit. Like, turns out fairly easy. For a very small price, actually.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, no, there's no, thinking that societal structures actually prevent fraud is inherently a flawed thought pattern.
Yes.
You know, but it is also, but here's the thing. It simultaneously is, it's simultaneous.
It is harder for you to open a bank account than it is for you to get a hold of anyone's personal information.
Yeah. Correct. But yes, correct.
My fucking brain melted. You know,
Well, okay, so think of it. Well, here's the thing, though. You've always known this. You just didn't realize that you knew it because
I never had to directly experience it.
Well, here's the thing. Again, you've always known this, but never really realized it because it's what makes a very common trope in movies that you love possible.
Yeah, true.
Do you know of what I speak? What do I speak of?
I was pretty sure you're going to bring up the fact that fraud is easy.
Oh, no, not even that.
Oh, okay.
What is some of the best and most compelling parts of most haunting stories? It's the research.
Oh,
it's the research.
Casting the magic spell that makes the thing happen.
Yeah, but it's the fucking research, right? Like, example. I've seen The Changeling with George C. Scott. You've seen it.
Yeah, great movie.
It's a brilliant movie. It's an old English-style ghost story told in America. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. But do you remember all the fucking research that man did? Going through all those public records and shit? Okay. So here's the thing. The reason you don't think about it relating to you is so commonly this level of research gets done about dead people, and you don't think about it. And there's some part of your brain that thinks, oh, that information's public when you're dead. No, it's always just public. It's always public, all the fucking time. Wait, you mean someone can find all that information about me? Yeah. That's how public's records work. That's how literally, if public records weren't available and kept, history could not be done.
Yeah. What we're saying is social media's big innovation is not having to fucking give the government $5 a pop for the info.
Or having to do that, but over a server.
Yeah. You know, and then they wanted to know your shopping habits, which unfortunately also tells them something about you psychologically.
Fucking chaotic doctor in the chat. All of the microfilm. All of it.
You know, like I was actually realizing, like,
how much
I miss
microfilm. Me too.
Not necessarily the microfilm specifically, but it's something that you don't see in movies set in the modern age anymore, which is that research phase. You know, you no longer have to go to the archive at the Vatican. You know, you just look it up on your laptop.
Nah, that's why Guillermo del Toro movies are like awesome as shit.
Yeah.
There's always a research phase.
Yeah. But his fucking stories are always in a more fantastic and cooler world than ours. You know?
I don't know, like
Well, even in fucking
Don't Be Afraid of
the
the Dark was kind of
Strain, even in the Strain, like they're going over scrolls and shit, you know.
yeah, but I mean, like, like Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, like that was that was set in the modern day, and she still went to a library. I thought it was so weird they brought up Algernon Blackwood though, because I just sat there and I'm like, the ghost story writer. The famous English ghost story writer who helped create folk horror?
Oh, by the way, speaking of such things, have you seen Frewaka?
Which one is this? I don't think I have.
It is a fairy kidnapping movie. It was made last year.
Ooh. What is it on?
Shudder.
Ooh,
it's on
okay.
Shudder.
Cool. Give me a taste. Give me a synopsis. What are we doing? What's going on?
Okay. Young nursing student in I think London. Her mother commits suicide.
Okay.
And while dealing with her mother's death, she is offered a job taking care of an elderly woman on like one of the many isolated islands of Ireland. A place where they speak Irish.
Oh, already there's magic.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah. They don't, and it's one of those, they're not this is set in the modern world, so they're not speaking Gaelic, they're speaking Irish. Yeah. You know, and every other person, like, only half the cast speaks English. Or, well, the characters. Only half the characters speak English. So she gets to the house where there's this woman, and the first thing the woman does is like, you're not allowed to come in. And she's like, well, I'm the nurse from the thing. He's like, I know who you are. And then she pisses on her. She's like, how do you like that? Huh? I know your kind doesn't like that. It's like, and she's like, I think she's like half Indian. So she's definitely doing the like, my kind, what the fuck? Yo, bat.
No, like, she thinks she's a fairy.
She thinks she's a fairy. Yeah. And she keeps having these weird hallucinations. She keeps like kind of stroking out. And there's a goat that keeps following her around.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would make people think she was a fairy.
Yeah. And
because
you kind of realize that the whole area is kind of infested with them. Yeah. Like there's this little red-haired kid.
Oh, fuck no.
And yeah. You're like, no, that's a Clericon. Fuck this. I'm out. And she walks by this one house, and there's a woman whose face she can't see, who's crying while doing laundry.
Oh, fuck no. Oh, no.
Run now. The only fucking...
Would rather deal with a banshee. Absolutely the fuck not.
Yeah. And of course, like, she's like washing her mother's old dress and shit, Yeah. It's really, it's very upsetting. And the one entity that I thought that I was surprised didn't show up, but probably would have been too obvious, was the Clericon. Not the Clericon, the Dullahan.
There have been a lot of Dullahans lately. I think maybe we're just easing up a little bit.
Yeah. But the way this thing does magic is a whole bunch of plausible deniability until you get to the very end.
So yeah, maybe the Dullahan.
The Dullahan would, having a headless guy walking around would have been too much of a tip off.
Ooh, is there a horse that is probably a puka?
I'm pretty sure the goat is.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
even fuck is it black? Like, is it dark?
Yeah, it's a black goat.
No, fuck it.
Yeah. Which one's the washer lady? The Bianchi. The Bianchi is the wailing washerwoman. Like the Banshee is the wailing woman. Like she's scary, but she'll just like cry at you. Something about the Bianchi is actually a lot more sinister. Because she washes the clothes of the dead or the recently about to be dead.
It's a local variant in parts of Ireland, and it's so fun.
Yeah.
So fun. And by fun, I mean it makes you want to die.
Yeah. And then she gets into the house, and there's a room with a red door and all of these crosses over the archway.
Good protection.
And a big horseshoe in the middle of it.
Oh, good.
And 7 nails positioned right in front of the door.
I love someone who knows how to protect their home.
It was, yeah. At one point, when the woman's trying to get back into the house, the old woman just throws a huge like fucking bag of salt at her.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Does the old woman at any point ever realize and accept that she's not a fairy?
Yes, because the others do show up.
Oh, fair enough.
But they're always in disguise.
Hmm.
And it's one of those, like, you're looking through the hole. It's just, you look through the little peephole. It's like a normal person, and it's just like, oh, I'm just confusing this woman who's here to do a thing, and then all of a sudden it's like, you can't keep us out forever, Wait, what did you just say? Nothing, dearie.
Burn them.
Yeah, they're coming for you.
See, this is why in Ireland it pays to just be a witch. Because even fairies are scared of witches.
Well, yeah. They have control of the weird. They have control of fate. Like that's terrifying shit.
Mm-hmm. Even fairies have fates.
Yeah, even fairies have fates. It's like, ooh, I don't want to fucking around with that. It's not good. So why do the fairies want to attack the old woman? That's the movie.
You'll have to watch to find out.
You'll have to watch to find out. Because that's getting into spoilers. Like you have a pretty good idea going in, but there's way more to it. You are supposed to put it together.
All right. Okay. It's going to go on. Okay. It's totally going to go on the list now. Thank you.
I will say this, though. You can't back out of a fairy wedding.
Of a what?
A fairy wedding. You can't back out of that.
Oh, no. Fuck that.
No,
absolutely.
No. Well, we're the only thing worse than a fairy wedding is trying to back out of one. Don't do it.
The only story I know.
Just accept goat dick.
The only success story I've ever heard about it was that girl. The story of that. I know you must have come across it somewhere, but the story of that girl who worked in the wash house who was being pursued for marriage by the King of the Goblins.
Oh yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. I have a very vivid memory of like the main beats of this story, which is like it's really fucking weird because like in the story she's just trying to go home because it's late at night, and she opens the door and she sees this horrible little procession of these goblins coming down the street carrying a palanquin, and she jumps back through the door, slams it shut, and makes the sign of the cross over the door, and they're like, oh, fuck. And so basically she just has to like keep them busy all night until the cock crows and the sun comes up and they have to like flee.
Actually, one of my favorite
and the only reason that works is because This wasn't an agreed upon thing. He was trying to pursue her. That's a different set of rules.
Yeah. That's different.
Once you've agreed,
he's trying to woo her.
Yeah, once you've agreed to it, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. Actually, one of my favorite like fairy moments is actually in the Hellboy comic. It's like, our little baby, there's something wrong with him. Oh, cute little feller. Doesn't seem to be anything wrong with this baby right here. In fact, I got a present for him. I know what baby's like. Baby's like, and he pulls out a horseshoe. Iron! And the baby immediately goes, I am undone! Get over here, you little shit!
And then he has to go on a fucking stupid ass quest with leprechauns, dead people, and the fucking Dagda.
Yeah, you have to. All right, go. There's a hanged skeleton over there. You have to cut him down. You have to carry him around. You have to take him to this fucking graveyard. If you can't take him to that graveyard, you have to go to this one. If you can't do this one, you have to go. He has to do this 7 times, and he's like, now you might think that I should just go to the last one, right? Well, it doesn't work that way. Fucking fairies, man. They got rules, and you gotta follow them. Otherwise, this is never gonna work.
You can get what you want, but you do have to obey the rules. You have
to play the game, you know? Oh, my God.
And also with this question, what's worse, fairies or yokai? I know everyone in the chat started sounding off their opinion, but legitimately, what's worse?
Which one you're talking about?
What's worse, fairies or yokai? Yes.
Yeah, it all depends on which one you're dealing with. You know, like the good thing about yokai is the vast majority of them are not evil, they're just odd. Like the hopping umbrella. It's not evil. It's just weird.
Or that one that likes to freak people out by showing it its butthole eye.
Yes. It's not evil. It's just weird. Or the soap scum liquor. It just wants to eat the soap scum out of your bathtub.
See, he's not evil. He's just
evil,
gross.
Just weird.
And gross. He's gross.
Yeah. But then you've got some that are like the slit-mouthed woman. She is trying to kill you with a giant pair of scissors for some reason. I don't know why the scissors, but it is part of the story.
Because that's how she cut her face.
Yeah. You know? I really like the slit-mouthed woman, actually. I always thought that one was cool.
I do love, by the way, something I do love about like a lot of the pre-Christian European and British Isle mythology, as well as a lot of the East Asian mythology. Something I truly love about both these things is the concept of like, but what is the moral lesson here? Moral lesson? You did the thing you weren't supposed to do.
Yeah. You committed the transgression. You didn't even need to know it was there.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, but I'm not a bad person. Why do you think your God cares?
Yeah, then you got the head on the as NS Flashman says, then you got the head on the Buddhist wheel that will eat your baby's legs. Yeah, that one's a little more intense.
I've tried to research where the fuck that one came from. Nobody actually fucking knows.
I think honestly sometimes Asian folklore is just a little more inventive.
Well, that's because you have
Yeah, you see, you were gonna say something. You're like, ooh.
No. Because I wanted to make sure I phrased it correctly, which is that Chinese and Japanese mythology and Irish mythology share a common thread. We all have there's a lot of drunk uncles.
Yes.
Who say a lot of shit.
Well, one of the so hang on. Speaking of that jive, where did I?
And he's off, folks.
Well, buys this book, Frightful Folklore of North America, because I needed to know specifically, what a haint was.
Oh, that's a category.
Yeah. But it turns out there actually is a definition. In order to be a haint, you, during life, you had to have been a completely miserable son of a bitch.
Oh yeah, none of them are good.
Yeah. You never run into a haint who's just misunderstood. That's a ghost.
You got Appalachian
folklore is an asshole.
Appalachian folklore, man. Appalachian folklore. You got your ghosts, ghouls, haints, boogers, boggers, and witches.
Yeah, and it turns out, and you know where the Appalachians got it, right?
The Scots and the Irish.
No.
The Melungeons.
No.
What? Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's where they got the haint from.
Oh, specifically
the haint. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about like the greater library.
Oh, no. I meant the haint specifically. You know, because before, like, you hear the word haint and you're just like, okay, so you mean like ghost, right? And the answer is not quite.
Kind of, but not really.
But not really. You know how, like, we're like, well, poltergeists are a type of ghost. No, well, like, a haint is actually a little bit more different. You know, it really is. No, they are a particular type of son of a bitch that is never fucking happy, and the only thing it wants to do is make you miserable.
Yeah.
You know, real piece of shit. You know, so yeah, this has a pretty good, like, 3-page discussion on the haint and other things. Certain other things I didn't know existed, like the skull-faced bishop, which is a Canadian thing.
God, I forget. Oh God. If there's anyone like from the Appalachian area in the chat who can remind me, is there an entry for God? What the fuck is his name? Skin John or No Skin John, like something like that.
Ooh, let me see. No Skin John. Let me see if this thing's actually got an index. Hang on.
It's either like it's either like Skinned John or No Skin John. It's something like that. It's something that implies the fact that he is just walking around without skin.
Don't see anything off the top here, but you know, I barely cracked this book open, so
that's fair.
You know, it might be there. And Jackalope, of course. Jackalope, Resurrection Mary. Check that out. Oh, I love it when animals have like those kind of like goofy Appalachian names, like the Snallygaster. You know, the Snarly Yow. That's cool.
The Snarly
Yowl. The Snarly Yow. You know, I bet you can't figure out what that does. Oh!
Does it snarl and yowl?
I'm sure it does. But there was another thing. I remember what I wanted to bring up.
Oh, what is this?
All right. It is about the intersection of myth and folklore and reality.
It intersects at several places.
Yeah. But like, okay. As you all know, I have a, while I like Mothman, I have a particular consternation about him, which is, why the prophecy angle? That makes no sense. Because apparently the myth of Mothman is he appears before someone who's driving down a road, and then 6 months later a bridge might collapse. What's the connective tissue there?
Yes, we know.
You know?
You're upset that the Harbinger isn't more detailed. We know.
Yeah. Because, like, well, let me put it this way. If it had been, we were driving across a bridge and Mothman appeared, and then the bridge collapsed, that would be connective tissue. That'd be like, oh, he actually appears on it. But no, the myth is always, oh, he appears before a car and then a train 10 miles away crashes almost a year later. The fucking hell, man. That could have been anything. If you're going to blame Mothman, like, I'm going to need to see the evidence. You know, this is America. Anyway. Thunderbird. I saw a documentary on flying monsters of North America, in particularly around the Illinois area.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those of you who don't know, Thunderbird is a big deal in Native American myth. Such a big deal that it crosses multiple areas and tribes. Like, it is a big enough myth that it can be considered just basically part of Northwestern myth. Like, all of it. It appears in all of it.
Yeah.
So, the question becomes...
it is most popular in the Algonquin, Ojibwe, Menominee, and Siouan and Arikara mythologies.
Right. And they share, the stories are pretty shared too, about what this thing does and, you know, how it eats people or kills them, whatever, you know, like, you know, they all got that story. So you're like, okay, that's cool, but where does this idea come from? Because as far as we know, it's at bottom, it's a big bird that brings storms. Sometimes it shoots lightning out of its face.
Sometimes it brings misfortune.
Sometimes it brings misfortune. And considering it's a storm thing, okay, floods. There's some connective tissue there, you know. Anyway, so this documentary is actually talking about, like, you know, the myths. It's not like, and it ain't like a Sasquatch documentary where you're just sort of like, are you fucking shitting me? Bull fucking crap.
Now, Jack, you better calm down, because we both know that there is a multi-episode Sasquatch documentary that you and I both love.
That's true, there is, but it's about Sasquatch, but it ain't about Sasquatch.
Well, yeah, that's what makes.
I'm talking about, like, discovering Sasquatch, the truth behind Bigfoot, that kind of bullshit.
The truth behind Bigfoot is that it's Native American mythology. It's Dene mythology, and we keep bastardizing it.
But I am thoroughly convinced there is no such thing as Sasquatch.
I believe in Bigfoot.
I do not believe in Bigfoot.
I also acknowledge that it doesn't really matter for me.
Fair. So, you have this legend of Thunderbird. It's very consistent. The stories are shared across multiple cultures. Mm-hmm. So you're like, why and how You know, because usually there's a bit more variation. You know what I mean? Like the only other like character that has like that kind of relative consistency is like Coyote.
Okay.
But Coyote is like a trickster creator god. Spirit. You know, like trickster creator spirit.
Well, yeah, but aren't the Thunderbirds potentially based off of that that species of megafauna? Cannot remember its name.
Yeah.
It's a type of eagle.
Yeah, it's condor actually. The Aegean condor, which is native to Peru.
Yes, but before that, there's like a it's an extinct species, right?
No, this one is not.
No. There was a. I'm thinking of something else. There is a pre-existing megafauna bird.
Yeah, with a 20-foot wingspan.
That was essentially, imagine you remember the fucking golden eagle in Rescuers Down Under?
Yeah.
It was that size.
Yeah.
That fucking size.
That's the ancestor of the Aegean condor.
Yes, you know? And we lived at the same time as that thing, and it used to fucking eat us.
Is it really that recent?
Yeah, early humans lived with that thing, and it would fucking eat people.
Okay, but here's the other thing. Thunderbird sightings happen about once every 30 years.
Okay.
Up till this day, you know, a large bird comes down, picks up an animal that you wouldn't think a bird could pick up, like a dog, a pig, a child, and tries to fly off with it. Sometimes successfully, sometimes not. Okay. They all correspond to the Aegean condor in description. But everyone's like, yeah, but that's in Peru. Well, turns out motherfuckers migrate. But
you mean the bird with the 20-foot wingspan can fly a long distance?
Well, this is a bird with a 10-foot plus wingspan.
Okay.
You know, and when you see pictures of it next to people, you're like, holy God, of course that thing could fly off with a small child. It's huge. You know, the body of the bird is about as big as the average size person. That's not including wingspan. But they migrate, but they don't migrate anywhere near Illinois or any of those areas. But what do so many of those areas have in common? I'll give you a hint.
No, what?
A lot of these areas are flat.
Oh. Okay.
They are birds that have been blown off course, which is why you only see one or two of them in a lot of these areas. But why they're also more common in the Pacific Northwest along the western coast where there's that big jet stream. And what tends to accompany a, tornado? A thunderstorm. But it's a type of bird that's not common to the area.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah. It's gigantic. It's huge.
Holy shit.
That's not even the picture of the biggest one I found.
No, I'm looking at other ones. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
What do you mean what do you mean that they can just walk that shit? Those are people next to that fucker.
Yeah. So I'm betting if you had people from Peru in those areas, not like, a couple generations down, but like the same person who witnessed one of those attacks, they would know exactly what it was.
Well, hold on. Now I think about it, I think there was... It may even need to be directly from Peru. It may not even need to be even that direct, in the sense that I don't know about trade with the Incan Empire, but I do know that several of the nations in the current U.S. Southwest had active trades with the Aztec and Mayan empires because they spread up into the, and there was a, so, and the Incans had a thing with the Aztec, so maybe, yeah, no, in multiple ways that story pass along.
Because most of the legends are set in, well, what would have been for the Native Americans, historic times as opposed to prehistoric times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of these stories are like, oh no, this fucking thing like came down. And everyone's like, oh yeah, this is a huge bird, and it fucking, you know, took a kid off, or, you know, whatever. Took 10 of us to fucking bring it down, and then we ate it. You know, it's like, you know, what else you gonna do? The giant bird.
Well,
You know?
okay, the giant bird tried to take one of our children, so we mercilessly killed the giant bird and then ate it in front of the other birds.
As a warning to others.
Others.
But like that's why in those regions it's Thunderbird, because of storm fronts. So you see a giant bird. You look up at the sky, you see a giant bird. It's a dark sky, and all of a sudden lightning happens. And
then this fucking giant ass thing.
Yeah, and this is giant. You're gonna be like, holy shit, that thing casts lightning bolts.
Did you see how big its wings were? It must have made that wind.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, oh, okay, well, this perfectly like fits together. You know, that really is a description of a real thing that happened. You know, it's just because it's in an area where it's not common enough that everyone would just be like, oh, yeah, that one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to watch out for that one.
It'll eat your kids.
Yeah, it'll eat your kids. Because in Peru, that's like how people are. They're like, oh, yeah. Those things are dangerous. You know?
Because they are.
Yeah, because they are. You know, like, well, it's that interesting thing how, like,
they pick up coyotes and then drop them.
Yep. But the whole thing is it's like in one area of the world, it's a mystical creature. In another part of the world, it's just a daily hazard.
Well, ain't that how the stories go, though?
It is. But I always thought that I always think that kind of thing is really cool. I'm still trying to figure out dragons. You know, because the part of the dragon myth that I always found so fascinating is the horde.
Is the what?
The horde.
Oh, the horde.
Yeah, why do dragons have hordes?
I don't know, man.
I understand what it symbolizes.
Right.
Like, that's obvious. But, like...
But what's the point for the dragon?
Yeah. Well, the point for the dragon is it can make no use of either the virgins or the gold. It just hoards it. But, like, who put that together and why?
Man, you'll just have to...
Was there like a really big lizard that just like really likes sleeping on piles of coins or something?
Hey, man, you're just going to have to find one and ask them one day. And I say that because, in my opinion, nah, that shit's real. There's too many congruencies across too wide of a range. I'm like, nah, they're real somewhere,
it's
man.
Something. Yeah, it's something. You know, there has to be, and I feel like that's actually some part of like, the culture, the traditional Western cultures that we've kind of lost, which is like, hey, what's the origin of this thing?
I think the mythological creature that I have possibly the most fascination with, but I also know that if this mythical creature were real and I saw it, I would have a panic attack.
Oh God, yes.
Is the unicorn.
Did you see Death of a Unicorn yet? It's a good movie.
All the rich people got what they deserved.
Yeah, it's good. Where do the dragons or gods come from in Chinese myth? The sky.
They literally just come from the sky.
Yeah, they come from sky, either the sky or the water. And I'm like, I think I need more information. Like, that's another like ancient myth. That's another, but it also like means something very different, because dragons in the Asian traditions are usually associated not with fire but with rain.
They may breathe fire for show, but their main
they may
thing
breathe
is
fire, but they're mainly associated with rain.
Yeah. Or being able to cause it. Like they can cause, causing rain, causing storms, causing tsunamis, tidal waves. It's what they do.
Yeah, I'm actually convinced that the unicorn is actually like a description of those goats where the two horns come together and they.
Oh yeah, no. We've had this whole thing, and it makes sense why the maidens, because billy goats, it's how they act with women.
Because that's the way goats behave, like
and then if you look at all the old tapestries, it quite clearly looks more like a goat, and like the horse thing was like later during the Renaissance.
Yeah. They prettied them up a little bit more,
But if I ever met. Like if I ever like came face to face with a unicorn, I think I might drop to my knees and start crying and turning my face away from it. Because I know exactly because I know exactly what would happen. I know exactly what would happen because I'm not a total bastard. What would happen is, in that moment, I would realize that I'm looking at literally the purest fucking thing in creation. And I would feel the weight of the shame of every negative thing I'd ever done in my life.
Now you're talking about the mythical unicorn, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Yeah. I'm like, if I saw like a unicorn goat, I'd probably be like, oh, look at that. Oh, it gored me.
No. I'm talking about like the actual like the mythic unicorn, like the unicorn of legend. If I ran into one of those, I would be like, I'm not worthy to look at it. Don't look at me.
Don't look at me. I'm hideous.
Yeah, that's exactly what would happen. And I'll tell you right now, if any of your reactions would be different, you're fucking monsters. You're not people. Because I'll be honest. I think that there aren't enough fantasy worlds where unicorn hunting is punishable by death. Because in a fantasy world,
in most fantasy worlds, like hunting the unicorn comes with its own consequences.
Yeah, I know. But here's the thing about it: those consequences are so well recorded in mythology, even in fantasy worlds, that I feel that whatever the governing kingdoms of the fantasy worlds are should be like, no, if you hunt unicorns, you're an insane bastard. You're trying to destroy shit. You need to die.
To get out of here, like, banished. Oh, what? Well, it tells the other unicorns, and then we're all in trouble.
I don't know. I feel like in the last unicorn, the character I feel the most like empathetic with is Molly Grew.
Oh, of course. Yes.
It is. Because that's the thing, like being who I am at like 35 years old, I understand that reaction of how dare you come to me now
when I am this. Oh,
where were you when I was new? Where were you when I was new? When I was innocent? When I was one of those innocent young maidens that you always come to?
Yeah.
I feel that so hard.
Yeah, I feel bad because the character I identify most with is Schmendrick.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Kind of a crappy low rent magician,
I literally I love watching The Last Unicorn when I'm really, really baked, which is sometimes a bad idea because I'm very much in my emotions when I'm really baked. And like literally every time that I watch it, and when oh god, when the unicorn has like been turned into the lady, and she has that line of like, I hate this, I feel this body dying all around me. I'm like, oh my god, that's terrifying. That's terrifying. Like, wait, because really, when you think about it, right? Like, that must be a thing. It's just that because we're mortal creatures, that's just part of our existence, and we don't think about it. Like, it's just, it's just a thing. But if you think, but that must mean, just the notion of like transforming from like being an immortal, suddenly trapped in a mortal body, you would be aware of the dying of cells encasing. That's terrifying.
Although I gotta say, there was the one that I always wanted to do was, like the old heroes about to like, go off in the sunset, like clearly to die, and everyone's like, no, like, no, don't go, blah, 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 blah. You should stay. But just wait for the one hero to turn around and go like, hell no.
Hell no.
Hell no. I just stick around this shit. You fucking crazy? Haven't I done enough for you people?
Stay
time I've been out too long in the midnight sea, okay? Holy Diver's gonna have a nap. You fuck off.
Stay amongst us, oh mighty hero. Fuck you.
Fuck you. No. Get another one. Haven't I done enough? Damn. Well, you want me to? What? You want me to never reach the Isle of Milk, the land of milk and honey? Kiss my ass.
Oh my god! Wait, what's the God, I have to hold on. I have to look up the character name now because I honestly forget it, because there is a secondary character in The Last Unicorn where I'm like, oh yeah, no, absolutely, I I feel like that dude, and that's
Mommy Fortuna.
Oddly enough, no.
Oh, okay.
No, it's, hold on, I gotta look up this character's name because I honestly, Mabruk. King Haggard's like original wizard.
Oh, right.
Yeah. No. I identify with that guy, and people like, he's only in the movie for 10 seconds, and I'm like, yeah. But do you notice what's happening in that 10 seconds? It's a powerful and legitimate magician who gets summoned by an asshole king, and then when he surveys what happens, he goes, you have let doom walk into your door.
But
farewell.
If you not depart that way,
farewell.
Hagrid, I would not change places with you all the world.
And then he just fucks off.
Bounces. He's like,
yeah, no.
Fucking ass.
Yeah, no, I identify with that because I frequently, when I see stupid people about to walk into stupid shenanigans, I frequently go, ha, good luck, fuckers, and just leave.
Yeah. Just, nope, we out. Bam, we're bouncing.
But don't you feel that as a magician you should give advice? It wasn't asked.
Yep, he was gonna get rid of me anyway. Fuck it, I'm taking the out.
Yeah, no, he got invited. He got called. He got summoned to the courtroom to get fired.
Yeah.
So fuck him.
Yeah, fuck this guy. Like I'm out of here. That the unicorn's gonna destroy this whole castle and everyone in it. I'm out. Oh, you know what? I'm just not gonna be here. How about that?
I'm a wizard. I don't need this shit.
I don't need to go through this. Fuck you.
I do also, by the way, love that in those 10 seconds he's on screen. I love how Mabruk like turns and goes, Schmendrick, my boy, how are you? I do love this notion that that all the wizards just know each other.
Yeah, they just know each other,
Like regardless of how good or shitty they are.
Yeah.
Which actually, that's oddly true.
Yes. Yes, yeah. We have conventions that I never go to anymore because I'm sick of people.
I did. Oh, I did, and I'm gonna talk about it here simply because I think the audience would enjoy hearing about it. Um, so I'm very tickled pink over, as you know, our mutual friend John yesterday went to the AEW wrestling
Oh
show
yeah, yeah.
at the host at the Masonic Temple in Detroit. Which, do you know that that building has 3 theaters in it? Full like theaters in it. Oh yeah, the Michigan the Detroit Michigan Masonic Temple is fucking huge. It's massive. It's actually the size of the Mormon Tabernacle. It's fucking huge. Oh yeah, it's massive. But I found it so funny. I don't know if you saw, but like in our text thread, John was like texting like me shit about the building, going like, dude, like this building's huge. Like, what the fuck? It looks like this, looks like this. I'm like, yeah, and I'm just like, but it kind of also gives you the vibe that you shouldn't be walking down the hallways of that building by yourself, doesn't it? And he's like, yeah, but like not in a not in a foreboding way, but in a this is a hall of serious wizard business way. And I'm like, yes, that is what Masonic buildings are supposed to feel like. It's supposed to make you feel like there's a hall of wizards and they're very busy. Why are you bothering them?
Yes.
It's a very unique aesthetic, and I think we figured it out quite well.
And oh my god.
It's funny though, because he was asking me different questions about the building, like otherwise, and we were talking about it, and I dropped this bit of knowledge on him. We, as an organization in America, the Freemasons, we have so much money. We have so much money. Do you know how much money we give to charity every single day of the year?
I'm not actually.
Every day, nationwide, Masons give $2.6 billion a day to charity. There's an entire section of child cancer research that was funded by us.
Man. Well, quick.
Mm-hmm.
Are Shriners Masons technically?
Yeah, they're part of the Masonic. Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to remember like
so many children's hospitals
they were. Yes. Shriners love benefits for children's hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there's a game called Scion, which is you're playing the children of gods, and I put them up against evil Shriners.
Oh my god!
In
tiny cars,
and with the fez and everything. And one character was like, "Wait, I know one thing that will turn the tide of this." So they're driving around a giant like tour bus.
Mm-hmm.
You just go with it. And on the side of the tour bus, she creates a banner that says, I forget the exact title, but it was like basically children's charity event. She's like, no Shriner can resist a children's charity
event. That's true. That's very true. You tell your local Shriner conclave that there's an event of any kind for children's benefits, they will trip over themselves asking to volunteer for it.
Yeah. Now,
and help raise money for
it. Are they which the Shriners a specific temple, right?
So the Shriners, I believe. Because hold on.
Yeah, because I don't know exactly what the structure is here.
Yeah, no, hold on. I just have to go through this in my head real quick. Okay, so there's the Blue Lodge. There's the Blue Lodge, then there is the Scottish Rite and the York Rite. The York Rite, the topmost branch being the Knights Templar. There's three major There's 3 major royal arch sections that the other orders of the York Rite fall into, that they have their own distinct names, but while still being part of the York Rite. I believe the Shriners are a branch off of the York Rite I believe they're a branch off of the York Rite of free and accepted Masonry. I believe that's what they are.
Yeah, let's see. I just realized we have the internet here.
Oh God, yeah, that's right. The internet exists.
Formerly known as the Ancient Arabic Order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine. It is an American Masonic society founded in 1872 in New York. It is headquartered in Tampa, has over 200 chapters across 9 countries, with a global membership of 1.7 million Shriners. The organization is known for its colorful Middle Eastern theme, elaborate participation in parades and festivals, and the Shriners Children Network of nonprofit pediatric medical facilities. So, all right, started in America, and it seems to be associated with. Oh, yeah. A Mason had to complete either the Scottish Rite or York Rite systems to be eligible for membership in the shrine.
Oh, okay. So it's an auxiliary order that is accessible through either rite within American Masonry. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, and their female counterpart organization, I believe is Job's Daughters. I believe. Because the female counterpart to Blue Lodge Masonry is the Order of the Eastern Star.
Daughters of the Nile.
Daughters of the Nile. Okay. No, that would make sense. Like Arabic Order of the Mystic Shrine. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, no, it's great. If you ever go into a Shriners Hall, oh, the decor is Lawrence of Arabia all the way. There's fucking Sphinx heads and like scimitars and shit. It's amazing. They wear fezzes.
Oh my God.
They were
the
like
Shriners hosted a golf tournament in association with Justin Timberlake called the Justin Timberlake Shriners Hospital for Children's Open.
Hey, Justin Timberlake may be a piece of shit. Well, we may now know that he's a piece of shit, but the Shriners, they go, hey, is that a celebrity who's popular at the moment, who's willing to loan celebrity to give money to the children's hospital? Fucking awesome.
Yeah, they apparently denied him entrance on the basis of that he only seemed to be interested when the cameras were rolling.
We keep it real.
Yeah, you gotta keep it real.
we keep
you gotta keep it real in order to wear a little fez and drive a tiny car.
Look, man, the fucking Freemasons in general cannot afford. That's what it is. The fucking Freemasons in general cannot afford to be bullshit. We got too much work to do, man. There's literally too much fucking work to do.
Oh my God, I feel like there should be like like a magical artifact, which is the very first Shriner car.
The first tiny car,
Shriner car, like it's a mystical artifact.
Oh God. Oh, okay, but yeah. So if just in case anybody is fucking curious about this, so you have just if anyone's curious about how this fucking flow works. So you have 2 major orders, 2 major rites in American Freemasonry. There's a Scottish Rite and the York Rite. Within the York Rite, the York Rite is split. I think there's like there's like multiple degrees within the York Rite. Much in the Scottish Rite, there's 32 degrees that you attain. In the York Rite, there's multiple degrees that get split into 3 sections, which is the Royal Archmasons, the Cryptic Masons, and then finally the Knights Templar at the top. Then there are the popular women's orders, which is Eastern Star, the White Shrine of Jerusalem, and Daughters of the Nile. There is the the further York Rite bodies, basically the York Rite was like, we need special things at the very tippy top. We're going to make them. And that would be the Holy Royal Arch Knights Templar priests, the Knights of the York Cross of Honor, and the York Rite Sovereign College. Then we have invitational orders that you can only get to by invitation from the inside. And that's the Rosicrucians, the Allied Masonic Degrees, the Red Cross of Constantine, and the Royal Order of Scotland. It's an international club.
And let's see, Shaquille O'Neal, he's Scottish, right? Correct?
I believe Shaquille O'Neal belongs to the Prince Hall Masons, which that is an interesting thing, because there was a time, very unfortunately in American history, where because of racial bigotry, Black men were not allowed in the Masonic order. So they formed their own thing called the Prince Hall Masons. Now, these days, that is no longer true. Very thankfully. The current Order of Free and Accepted Masons welcomes all members of all creeds, nations, faiths, whatever, ethnicities, whatever. Now, very unfortunately, because of that history, the Prince Hall Masons don't like to work with Free and Accepted Masons, even though we're trying very hard to like bridge the gap between our communities. We're not even saying merger them. We're just saying, hey, we respect that we have our own, that you have your own thing and you feel safe there because of bullshit, but can we please work together?
Oh, actually, he's a member of the Widow's Sons Lodge, which
I believe is part of the, I believe that's connected to the Prince Hall, I believe.
Predominantly, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Prince Hall, Widow's Sons Lodge number 28 of the predominantly African-American Prince Hall Freemasonry.
Yep.
Where he is a master.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a master Mason.
Let's see. Then we have the the social clubs, and that would include the Shriners, the Tall Cedars of Lebanon, and the Grotto. And then finally, the youth orders, which is Job's Daughters, International Order of the Rainbow, and D. Malay International. I was a D. Malay boy before I was a Mason. Yeah, I was a youth Mason before I was a Mason.
And of course, D. Malay is Jacques de Molay, right?
Yeah, it's named after Jacques de Molay. In fact, actually, our initiatory rite, which is, I can talk about this because it's actually open to the public. People are allowed to come and see this performed. But during our initiation rite, there is a ceremonial play that gets put on, and it's the play of the unjust murder and execution of Jacques de Molay. And specifically, it highlights the fact that it's in the play. It's Jacques de Molay, Godfrey de Gonneville, and Guy Laverne, all like being brought before the Inquisition. I got to play lead inquisitor one time. It was very fun. I got a black robe, and we got like the Malta hats. It was really fun. I got to sit in a chair and have an all black robe with a face covering. It was cool as shit. But yeah, so it's like they get brought in front of the Inquisition, and the Inquisitors, and it's great. Like, we got very physical with it. Like, as Inquisitors, we like threw them down. Like, there was like big booming monologues back and forth, and it's really awesome. And yeah, the whole thing is that Jacques de Molay that all three of them, but especially Jacques de Molay, refuses to give up the names and locations of his brothers, their treasuries, anything, and so he's sent to the stake for it. So yeah, the whole point of that play is to be like, hey, we're doing serious shit here. You don't betray your brothers, man. They're your brothers.
Oh man,
it's a good time. It's a good fucking time. If you ever want a fucking tearjerker, if you don't, and I mean this for everybody, if you don't have enough mother issues that are going to interfere with your concept of motherhood and you want a real tearjerker ceremony, look up any type of videotaped performance of the Demolay flower talk. It is heart-wrenching. It is heart-wrenching because a big thing in Demolay is breeding respect for like your parents, and but more specifically like for your guardians, for like the people who actually raise you. And to that, there's a ceremony that we used to do called the flower talk, which is what's on the altar, like a long line of like red and white carnations are laid down, and if your mother is living, you take a red carnation to bring to her, and if your mother has passed, you take a white carnation in her remembrance. And there is, each of those flowers gets a big, epic, very like poignant, tug at your heart monologue about that concept. Oh no, I was always very proud. My chapter, capital chapter, New Jersey Demolay, fuck yeah. My chapter was always very, we were always highly praised for our ritual work. Every time, oh god, no, I remember our one master counselor, every time they did flower talk, oh shit, not a dry eye in the house. We had people fucking crying at the end of the show. It was great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, it's fucking great. It's like, God, I don't mean to like just gush about this weird fucking thing that I'm in, but honestly, like I man, fuck the Boy Scouts. Send your kids to like Demolay and Rainbow. That shit's so much better for everybody. Join the Masons. Rule the world.
Rule the world with us. Yes. We are the ones who make Steve Gutenberg a star. You know,
because no one fucking else would. Who controls the British crown? Who keeps the metric system down? We do. It's so funny because in all aspects of Masonry, so much of what we do is actually open and public knowledge if you just bother to open a fucking book. That it really is one of those things of, you're a secret society. I mean,
it's an esoteric society. There's a difference.
Yeah. Like, the only things that are secret are a handful of our rituals that are for us only. That's about it. Nothing else is secret. The funding isn't secret. What we do with the money ain't secret. Our involvement in the community ain't secret. A lot of our other shit ain't secret. We rent out our buildings to communal events. Like, it ain't.
Yeah, I've been to many a convention at a fucking Masonic hall.
And usually, and if you're in a good area for the Masonic halls, the architecture is awesome, and sometimes you find weird little knickknacks just kind of hanging around everywhere.
Yeah, that's always fun.
It is, isn't it? It's fucking amazing. And but yeah, no, like, the most nefarious thing we get up to is, well, if you go to buy a new car and you have your Masonic ring on, and the guy who owns the dealership also happens to be a Mason, and you give each other a secret handshake, you might talk for a minute, you might laugh together, and he might give you a discount on a car. That really is the most nefarious shit that we get up to. Yeah, no, that's the most nefarious shit we get up to is like, we sometimes make deals with each other. I don't fucking, you know. And yet everyone lets Skull and Bones slip by. What the fuck is that shit?
Oh, yeah.
Fucking, I see you, Yale University. Fuck you. Fuck you, Yale University.
Yeah. Well, like, the thing about, like, oh, how to put it? You do. Yogi.
Yes.
I want to say something, but I feel like it's too egotistical.
Okay. So how would you like us to deal with that?
Well, what I would like to say is here's Skull and Bones. You are not one half as cool as I am. You never will be.
Well, yeah,
It's okay.
Well, yeah, you don't have 3 random murders attached to your activities.
True. True. Because it turns
Remember
out
that?
being a bad boy ain't about killing people.
But yeah, did you remember that, right? They killed 3 people.
Yeah.
And the police looked the other way.
Yeah. Hey, just remember, if fucking Ted Kennedy had driven a Volkswagen, he'd be president today.
I can say this about the family of specifically former Secretary of State Robert Kennedy.
Okay.
Wrong kid died.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of his children, the wrong one died.
And we're stuck with this guy. Autism is going to destroy the American family, and we cannot allow it.
I have a question. It's just a general question, because I know the actual answer. The actual answer is hypocrisy. They run by different rules than we run. That's ultimately what the answer to this is. I understand that, but I just want to voice it and think about it for a second, which is, if the Republican Party and the current administration is so anti-mental illness and anti-neurodivergence and anything to deal with the mind, right? Okay, then why does the man with a dead worm surrounded by tumorous tissue in his brain, who no longer works as a lawyer because he went and got tested and he is within cognitive decline because of the mass tumor around a dead worm in his brain, and he openly talks about, I have shown signs of cognitive decline. Why does he get to stand there and say that shit? I feel that the Republicans should want to kill him or put him away.
Oh no, you can't do that. He's too popular.
Yeah, again, I know what the actual answer to this is, the fucking hypocrisy.
Yeah, the absolute fucking hypocrisy. But otherwise, like, yeah, I am kind of like, RFK, are you sure you should be fucking talking smack about autistic people? I mean, I know you're not, but you sound like you have it.
Well, no. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm like, RFK Jr., should you really be talking shit about autistic people? Because as someone who works with autistic people, autistic people have full, rich inner lives and can do things. I don't trust you to tie your goddamn shoes. So, and also,
this is why the CDC needs to be gutted, because it's an inefficient organization.
This filthy white man. This filthy, look, white people who are watching right now, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about one of you. I'm not talking about you as a group. I'm talking about one of you. This filthy white man, who, why does he have a brain worm? Because he fucking ate raw meat like a goddamn animal. And have you seen the shit that he does on planes?
No.
Oh, Jack, your Chinese ancestors are about to scream inside your skull. This Guaylo.
Yeah.
Gets on planes, and he takes off his shoes and his socks. And not only does he walk around the cabin, he goes to the restroom and back barefoot. Barefoot, Jack.
I've done that.
You're gross. You're nasty. Stop that. You go to a public restroom on a plane with no shoes or socks?
I've done that, yes.
Something
Ew.
Also urban fantasy stories.
Ew. You're gross. Stop that. You're walking in people's urine. Stop that.
Oh, I didn't want to get my socks nasty.
Put your goddamn shoes on, you fucking heathen. He rejects yeah, no, he openly said that. He doesn't believe in germ theory. He believes in miasma theory.
Wait, what?
He doesn't believe in germ theory. He said that.
What the fuck is miasma theory?
You know, the bad air.
That is bad air because it's got germs in it?
No. You know how, like, okay, so you know that, like, that thing that was germ theory before germ theory because they couldn't see germs and they thought that, like, disease was just caused by, like, bad air that floated around?
I do now.
Yeah, you know, it's like what the plague doctors believed in and shit.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah, it's bad.
So he's just like, it's evil air created by wizards.
Yep.
Okay. Well, where does the bad air come from, Robert? Where does the bad air come from?
From the minorities. Jeez. I'm assuming that he wants to say that, but he won't. He said that we don't need vaccines for measles because vitamin A cures measles. He said that. I know it doesn't. That's stupid.
That is way stupid. Like, the thing that I'm, like, really kind of, like, here's something that's going to happen in my life, probably going to happen in my lifetime, and I don't feel good about this. But at the same time, I'm not going with the alternative. Nurgle is pleased with the brainworm man. Yeah. Yes.
That's true, though. He's totally an avatar of Nurgle. He totally is.
So, I am going to live to see the day where many members of the younger generation die of a disease that I am immune to.
Yes.
I ain't looking forward to that. You know, measles is going to be going around and I'm just going to be able to be like, dude, you could spit in my mouth and it wouldn't fucking matter. Why?
Oh, yeah.
Because I have a vaccine against measles. I've had it since I was 2.
Oh, yeah. No, there currently is, like, the starting of a measles outbreak. We've had, Jack, for the first time, I don't know, hey, I'm going to tell you this, and the part of your brain that wants to protect the innocent and believes in justice is going to be very, very angry with what I have to say. You're looking forward to it, I know. For the first time in almost 100 years, with this new measles outbreak, there is a pediatric measles mortality. It's back. It's killed a couple kids already.
Yay.
We've killed babies now. He has to die.
Wow. Yeah, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. It's going to get worse before it gets better.
I'm not going to say that if our side actually beats this back successfully, that seeing them all brought up for crimes against humanity is going to make me feel better, but it won't make me feel worse.
It makes me worse. Yeah.
You know,
like, I can't believe that people were so worried about autism that they went against vaccines. I know how it happened, but I find myself going,
we were there, we watched
what? You know, I even had friends who believed in that shit, and I'm like, that ain't how nothing works.
I really hate I really hate that the older I get, the more true. Hold on, what do I want to say? My grammar is failing me. I'm tired.
No problem.
I hate that the older I get, the more evident it becomes that a line that was said in the Phantom Menace of all films is 100% true.
Thunderous applause?
Now, to be fair, it's a line that Yoda says. And Yoda's always cool, so fair enough. Especially when it's still puppet Yoda, because in Phantom Menace he was still a puppet. You know, we all know the line. It's like, what does that have to do with anything? Everything. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. And I keep coming back to how true that is, and I hate it because that's the thing. It's like, why is there such like vitriol, like social vitriol against neurodivergent people? And the true answer comes down to the fact that the common pattern people, again, I won't say normal, because that's their word. Right. That's their word that they weaponize against the rest of us. The common pattern people. Also, hi, Massimo.
Oh. Dog.
He just dared. But the common pattern people deem themselves normal and everyone else as not. And the reason that they do this is because at the end of the day, they are truly deeply terrified at the fact that the order of the random universe is not the order that they create or can control. And so they hold to these things to try to make themselves feel like there is an order that they have a part of. And it just threatens that. And I say that, and people are like, that sounds too simplistic. And I'm like, but that's why it's true.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And it's just so, why can't people just accept your fatality, humans? Accept that you are minuscule in the eyes of the elder gods and be okay with it. How do I deal with it? Well, I use drugs mostly.
Yeah, drugs mostly. They help. They really do. They really do.
You know, I use drugs mostly, and then every so often, you know, I have a good meal and I go walk in the park. It tends to help. You know, it's all right. Yeah. It's fucking strange, man. It's a strange world out here, man.
Yeah, it's a strange world, and I can't even pretend to understand it. You know, I wish I did. I wish I did sometimes. Other times, I'm glad I don't.
Right. It seems like that would be too much.
Yeah. That'd be a lot of work, right? You know, like, oh, God, here we go. Here we go with the understanding and the fuck this. You know.
I love that whenever any of our animals come in front of a camera, everyone just goes, ooh.
Well, everyone loves animals.
Well, yeah, of course they do. Animals are great. They're the best. Hey, have you ever thought, man, that look, when we want to make dogs happy, we give them toys. They love toys. Now, we do give toys to cats, But have you ever noticed 9 times out of 10, the reaction to make the cat happy is to go, come, come, child, do drugs.
Yes.
Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
And do you know why I think we do that? Do you know why I think we give cats drugs all the time? And don't lie, that's what it is. That's what the catnip and the silver vine is. It's cat drugs. It's kitty hash. That's what it is. And why do we do that? I'll tell you why. Because I believe that subconsciously we recognize that the cat is closer to ourselves than the dog is closer to ourselves. The dog is close on an emotional level, but the cat is very much a small human on 4 legs. And we know that being human fucking sucks without drugs. So we take drugs, and therefore we give our cats drugs.
Yes. So do drugs, kids. They solve your problems.
You know. Oh my god, have you been hearing about the shit going on between the orcas and the humpbacks?
No.
Okay. So apparently orcas fuck with humpbacks all the time. They have an adversarial ship. However, they have accidentally joined forces against a common enemy, the great white shark.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm sure you know that due to migration and pup rearing patterns or calf rearing patterns, orcas and humpbacks cross each other's migrational path like every so often. Or you can imagine that being true.
Yes.
So orcas like to fucking just fuck with humpbacks. Like they kind of bully humpbacks, and the humpbacks don't fucking like it. But in their crossing of paths to each other, both the humpback whales and the orcas really fucking hate the great white sharks. Now, the humpbacks hate them because the great whites often try to go after humpback calves.
Right, yeah.
The orcas don't like them for a similar reason. And so this thing that has ended up happening is that accidentally they have formed an alliance in like an unknowing alliance in which in crossing each other's like migrational paths, sharks that are making a beeline for a humpback calf suddenly get fucking sideswiped and murked by fucking orcas just going after them. And the orcas have learned to eviscerate great white sharks and eat their livers.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
That's a little extra.
The orca. The fucking metalist cetacean. And now everybody out there, I want you to get down on your fucking knees and thank your lucky stars that you are a human being. Why? Because we share a planet with orcas, and the orcas know what we are and don't hate us. They hate yachts. That's different. We hate yachts too. They hate yachts, but that's not us. Every time an orca encounters a human that is not trying to attack it in the wild, the orca tries to play with the human because it recognizes, oh, hairless land monkey, how are you? It's been a while.
Oh, man. Okay.
That's right, people. I want you to think about that. Whales know what you are. Think about that.
See, this is why I don't trust many whales. They know us, man.
Yeah, but you know them.
They know. They see into our hearts. They see how rotten we are. They're trying to drown us. I am particularly suspicious of humpback whales.
What? They're like the gentlest creatures. What's wrong with you?
I don't trust them.
Yet another episode of Jack is suspicious of anything good and kind.
Yep. Don't trust them. I think they got too much good PR. See, the Orcas got one really cool horror movie based on them. I can trust that. I'm not sure I want to get near it, but I trust it.
They also have the Orcas also have one really cool childhood free spirited movie about them too.
Yes.
Hey, you shut the fuck up. Free Willy is awesome. Everyone loved Free Willy. Come on, man. That point where he's like, yeah, and it jumps over the thing, and then Michael Jackson comes out of nowhere. Hold me like the River Jordan. Come on. It's good. It's a good time.
Man. Oh, man. I just randomly found the last unicorn clip that we were talking about.
The Molly Grew one?
No, the Schmendrick, my boy. You know, like we're.
It's like, It's so funny because he's such a small wizard with this ridiculously long beard, and yet he has such drip. Yeah. It's such gothic drip. It's so awesome. Fucking silver staff and shit.
All right. I think I need to go because I think my brain is like shorting out.
That is fair. Oh, there it goes. His brain stopped.
Yeah, my brain stopped right there. And so, all right, everybody. Thank you. I want to thank you for coming down. I really appreciate it. I had a fun time talking to you. And
of course, dude.
For everybody else, I love you. Ave Satanas, Disco Inferno. And remember, Satan and I love you all very much. Hail Satan. And I will see you. I should see you guys tomorrow. Until then, good night.